ancient prophecies telling us that the world will be transformed.
Wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? He makes all this stuff up and claims that it's all true. The aliens want to eat us. Be careful that they don't get you. It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal?
This is where if I have a live audience, I get everybody to hug each other. I say, give your neighbor a handshake or a hug, whatever you feel is appropriate to you. And that way everybody feels the love a little more. I will never believe, I will never believe it, I will never believe it. Okay, that's fine. Maybe you need 25,000 more years, I don't know, buddy. But look, this is really compelling information, and it's going to get a lot more intense. It's coming up in a couple days here on Sunday, so if you haven't already signed up, we have reopened the cart. We still have the payment plan in place. That's Catalyst. Catalyst is negative experience, and so others mirror you back to yourself. Barack Obama, as I said before, I chilled with black guys from Harlem. I smoked cannabis with them, 420, blunts, White Owl, Philly blunt. I learned raps, okay? I've never been a racist. I don't even understand this. It's not real. It's an illusory reality, and other selves are the catalyst to piercing the veil. So look what's happening with other selves right now. And now I'm giving you a virginal third mind that's different than the two realities that you get to choose from. Why can't you understand something that's so easy? Very evil people are running the planet and want to kill you. And say, well, I don't believe this, and it makes me scared, and it makes me feel unsafe. But hypothetically, theoretically, maybe, perhaps, just in case, what if? And I don't remember what happened, but now I do. Now I do. And I want revenge. I do. I'm not going to lie to you. I want revenge. I want these people gone. I want these beings gone. They shouldn't be able to torture people like this. They shouldn't be able to do things to children like what they did to me. And the things that I'm now remembering that happened to me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be crying like this. I'm sorry. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe that these things happen to me. That's okay. And I want to get back to the slides so we can talk about where this is going. Why was it difficult? And these things were done to me against my will. The people who molested me did so against my will. They did it on stage. They did it in front of large audiences. And they were making fun of me because I had special abilities in this ultimate personality that they created. I had telekinesis. And so if you go back to some of the dreams that I posted online in 1997, there's a dream where I'm in my school cafeteria and everyone in the audience is in a robe. And they all have their way with me, make them a banana sandwich. And I didn't realize when I wrote that dream down that it was true, but that I couldn't remember because the memories were taken away from me. But now I do. Now I remember. I don't want to go into this a whole lot more, but it explains why I've been so committed to my path of justice and freedom, why I will not let this go on, why I do not support these people. I did not deserve to go through what I went through. I did not deserve to be raped. I don't care what happens to me anymore, folks. Now that I know what they did, I don't care. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say about me. This has got to stop. We need this thing to end. We need these people to stop succeeding in what they're doing, and we need their overlords to stop gaining the louche energy of torture, the ceremonies that they make people go through, and the horrible things that they make people do. All right, here we are. Can you even believe I might actually break YouTube by dressing up this much? I mean, let's see, it's going to tell me to have ads again. We know that. Do you love this?
Say hell no, motherfuckers!
If you decide that you have this particular talent, if you decide you have a particular talent for this stuff, you know, oh, man, I don't know what I just did. I got another one over here. Don't worry about it. See, this is funny.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
It's not every day that I'm going to dress up for you quite this much, so I hope you can really just savor this as if this was some sort of offering of beauty.
You done lost your damn mind.
Oh, I really love this outfit. I just was like, you know what? Why not go all the way? Let's just go all the way. I've got sequined shoes on again. You can see those right here. We'll give you the camera 4 shot on the sequined shoe again, showing my yoga dexterity. Look at that. Everybody's like, oh, wow, David's so dexterous. Well, that's nothing. Or I've been stretching. Yeah, that is real, honest to God, authentic gifting to you. You know, I want to be inclusive. I want to have the opportunity for you to soak in what it feels like to wear these clothes. You can vicariously process your life by just visually appreciating what has happened here. I mean, this is not any type of bad thing at all.
Hey, you want to laugh? This prick last week asked me to christen his kid. Yeah, all right, for $7,000 I charge.
You really are a funny guy!
People, I don't know what that was. It does not get more studly than this. Oh, thank you.
Look at the organization here. Clockwise rim job, counterclockwise rim job. Dick bastard, look at this. Chicks with dicks. You are spiraling out of control here.
Okay, you know, it's not easy to be a trans woman. There's a lot of prejudice in this world. Okay, I gotta get out of here, everybody. But now you've seen Trama, so we just crossed that boundary together. So thank you.
No, that shit can always be recovered. We gotta smash your laptop with a hammer.
All right, there, you happy?
No, the circuits could still be reconstructed if somebody worked at it. We gotta bury it in the harbor. Okay, we'll come back once every 3 months, take a dive, and check on us.
And again, if you'd like the full-blown information, the 10.5-hour video course with 7 camera angles, high production value, that's available now at thedisclosure.com. It's the finest collection of all this sacred science and tying together the Michael message. Because what Michael ended up telling me is that they are coming back. The ETs are coming back. These human ETs I've been talking about, they are definitely coming back.
That answer your question?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled. What it is, man. I don't mind.
Oh yeah, look at that. Very good. 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 I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. Cock.
Wow. 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 Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, suck. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, suck. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, suck. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, suck. Wilcock. 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 It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Cock. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Cock. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Cock. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Cock. It's here. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, suck. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, suck. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, suck. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, suck. Woo! 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 Cock. 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 I'm David Wilcock.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome back, friends. It's time for another wacky world of Wilcock. For those unaware, David Wilcock is apparently in dire financial straits. So dire, in fact, that he's doing the Super Chat Shuffle, begging his followers for various things. One week, he was begging for money for groceries because apparently while living in a $2 million house, he wants his followers to believe, or allegedly, $2 million home. I've seen the valuations. He is telling his followers he doesn't have money for groceries and begging for super chats, which, yeah, it's a pretty scummy thing to do when you're living in a $2 million house to claim you don't have money for groceries. Because, of course, previously he claimed that he had several months worth of grass-fed ribeye bison steaks in his deep freezer in his garage. But it is what it is. David Wilcock is not hard to catch in a lie. We have caught him lying about his fake whistleblowers that he claimed worked for the government. We've caught him lying about the CEO of Stevati Aerospace, claiming that man built something like 3,500 secret spaceships for the secret space program. We've caught him lying about the Pete Peterson GoFundMe scam. We caught him lying about the Emery Smith PayPal donation scam. He lied about Convergence Pictures LLC. I believe that was a scam. We caught him on that one. We caught him in various lies surrounding his so-called charity, the David Wilcock Spiritual Foundation, in which he collected several hundred thousands of dollars and did no actual charity work. But he did give, I believe we reached a point of saying 1 penny on each dollar went to other charities that he would donate a tiny portion of the money to, while spending exorbitant amounts of money on essentially on himself, on software, on equipment, on I think he spent something like $4,500 in one of the years he was collecting donations for that charity, just on meals and entertainment. We've caught him lying about Stevati Aerospace several times. They lied and said that they had government contracts to create laser weapons for the United States military. That turned out to be a lie. We caught him in that. We caught him lying, his company lying, claiming that they had wind tunnel contracts. FOIA requests were filed. It turns out they have no wind tunnel contracts. It's not difficult to catch David Wilcock in a lie. But it's so interesting to me that people continue to give this new age scummy grifter money. He has been wrong about everything. He's wrong about his entire run on ancient aliens, which is an extremely flawed theory that is based on mistranslations by one Zechariah Sitchin.
they were all wrong, those translations. So the entire theory falls apart. And then, of course, there was him claiming to be Edgar Casey reincarnated, him claiming running up to the year 2000 that we'd all soon get a huge ascension event and solar flash, and we'd all get superpowers. I guess he lied about that. He lied once again, pulling the same, or I believe the same alleged scam in the run-up to the year 2012. Remember the Mayan prophecies, claiming that there was a huge ascension event coming and that we'd all get superpowers, including telekinesis, the ability to telepathically communicate, the ability to levitate, rainbow light bodies, and more. Then, of course, there was the scam in which he promised everybody that he would teach everybody the secrets to free energy and anti-gravity for $333. But, of course, so far, no one that took his $333 course has been able to actually produce anything working, because all David Wilcock did was cobble together stuff from around the internet, all of which is mostly non-working bullshit. He is the king of bullshit, this guy. And I guess that's what keeps me so fascinated. How many scams can this guy run and continue to have stupid people send him money? And lately I've been thinking that if anybody is actually dumb enough to give David Wilcock money, there's only really three possibilities. Either they are incredibly gullible, or they are incredibly stupid, or some combination of those two things. This can be the only reason. Well, I guess there's a fourth reason, in that some people come to David Wilcock not realizing that he has a long history of making completely and totally fake and false predictions. Now he's channeling the Archangel Michael. But before that, he was channeling the Egyptian god Ra, with prophecies that also didn't come true. Now he wants you to believe that he's been in communication with the Archangel Michael since the 1990s somehow. And the Archangel Michael has made a series of incredibly prophetic predictions that all come true, but he can't show us one clear prediction that actually came through, not without connecting a bunch of dots and, numerology and all of these excuses. This is typical things that fake psychics do when their predictions don't really hit. They make excuses, or they give some ridiculous explanation like, oh, well, it happened on a parallel timeline. Lately, David Wilcock has been lying once again about Stevati Aerospace, the shady, scammy aerospace company that he has apparently invested millions of dollars into, that has never produced a single working airplane, to my knowledge, or any product or service related to the aeronautics industry. But David Wilcock is telling his followers that they're going to get capitalized and they're going to get funded and all these contracts are coming in. But what you need to know about David Wilcock's shady aerospace company, well, two things. There is a man on the board of that company named Bill McEwen, who has a long history of incredibly shady business dealings, some would say scams, involving the computer industry, specifically Commodore Amiga. Besides that, we've got Christopher Beskar, who David Wilcock claims George Lucas named Beskar armor from The Mandalorian after Christopher Beskar. Well, somebody got in contact with the person who actually came up with Beskar armor, a writer for the series and for Lucasfilm or Disney, whatever. No, they don't even know who Christopher Beskar is. One of the best ways that David Wilcock is actually lying to you is that his lips are moving. I can't believe that this guy gets on the internet like this and lies so boldly. Now he's claiming all kinds of things about his company, about the lawsuits against the company. And we've got some paperwork to show you that once again proves we've caught David Wilcock lying. Imagine that. We've got some paperwork to show you. And we will get into it, friends. We want to take a moment to welcome everybody in the live chat who is here for another round of the wacky world of Wilcock. How much wackier can it get? And, lately I've been wondering at what point David Wilcock will finally have some kind of consequences for his shady business dealings. You know, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think if most of us normal people got caught doing all of these shady things, there would be some consequences. Apparently, he has some consequences related to his unpaid taxes. And by the way, he wants his followers to send him money to pay 1.5 million, was it, in unpaid taxes? We heard in courtroom deposition testimony from the Corey Good cases that David Wilcock made somewhere between $4 and $5 million from just one of his courses. What is he doing with all this money if he's claiming that he's so broke he can't pay his taxes, he can't buy a refrigerator? That was another one. He was begging his followers for money so that he could replace a noisy refrigerator in his multi-million-dollar home. Boo-hoo. And then there is also, I just want to put this on the record, there's also the issue of David Wilcock recently. I think he has contracted a copyright vulture service because he's placing false copyright claims against anybody who uses any portion of his productions, which in my view, I'm not sure if it is illegal, but it should be, and here's why. They are claiming that the video that we are going to be sharing this evening contains a clip including David Wilcock and Corey Good, the Antarctic Atlantis. Must see live disclosure. David Wilcock, what are you doing? Why are you illegally copyright claiming my channel or any other channel? And by the way, I'm not a lawyer, law enforcement officer. I don't know if this is illegal, but it should be, because he's claiming that clips are in his work that aren't in his work. Corey Good doesn't even appear in this video that we'll be sharing. But because of David Wilcock's copyright vulturing here, our stream is now ineligible. So this, my friends, is a method. He's trying to stop people from covering his insane, rambling live streams full of lies, half-truths, distortions, disinformation, misinformation, and just outright bullshit. He's trying to stop people like me, I guess, assuming if we can't monetize doing that, we'll just go away and leave him alone. And I'm here to tell you, no, I'm not. I will. But by the way, David Wilcock, you already owe me. I have to do the math again, friends. But David Wilcock already owes me something like $50 for falsely copyright claiming me, which gave me a tremendous idea. I realize that that's a very small amount of money. However, when you're a small content creator, and really it's the principle of the situation with me. He is falsely claiming that clips are in videos I'm sharing, including Corey Good, that aren't in those videos that I'm sharing. I don't know how he's legally allowed to do that, but this certainly did give me a great idea. So I want to put this on the record and publicly tell David Wilcock, if you do not remove every false copyright claim from every video of mine that you have falsely claimed, which caused us to lose something like $50 or $100 in ad revenue, then I will be suing you in small claims court for my money. I want my $50 or $100 or whatever the lost revenue it is from these outrageous and possibly illegal, completely and totally false copyright claims. I want my $50 or my $100, David Wilcock. And if you do not immediately release all the copyright claims on my videos related to covering your videos, I will be filing in Colorado Small Claims Court, and I have all the evidence that you are falsely copyright claiming me and causing myself and my company to lose revenue based on these false copyright claims. So what are you going to do here, David Wilcock? I'm not filling out. And by the way, you see that there's one claim. By the time we finish with this video, there will be something like 15. I can show you another one in which David Wilcock falsely copyright claimed us. And let's be clear, friends, in my opinion, he is doing this to prevent people from educating the public on his completely and totally false claims. I'm trying to find, here is another one. Here's another one which shows a tremendous amount of, we'll just share this. So what happens is if you clip out or remove the 1 minute clip that he's claiming, then they file more, which shows an active effort to defraud content creators, in my opinion, unethically, immorally, and possibly illegally. So look, that's a 30-second clip. If I trim this out, then he files more with different timestamps. And again, he's claiming that this video that we shared, this is from the last stream we did, includes Corey Good and is about the Atlantic Atlantis, the Antarctic Atlantis, must-see live disclosure. Corey Good's not even in these videos, David Wilcock. How are you falsely copyright claiming my channel? I'm not filling out all this paperwork. I will vigorously and if necessary, legally defend my rights to fair use under the law. Maybe you should educate yourself. And by the way, during this live stream, David Wilcock lies several more times, and we're going to share some things about that. So, all this talk, David Wilcock is saying, people are saying that we're being sued by investors. He says this during this stream. We're going to get to that, but this is interesting. Wait a minute. Let me share the. I'm going to share some clips before we get into the actual. 1 second before we get into the actual. Yeah, let's share some of these clips. So people on UFO Twitter who are equally tired of David Wilcock lying to everybody. Macario says, crazy how things change from 1 week to the next. And let me put my fair use banner up. We'll get another copyright claim. And I'm not kidding you, friends. By the way, since we're losing the $20 or $30 for doing this today, we'd appreciate your support in other ways like super chats or PayPal pledges so that we can keep exposing this man and all of his lies. We consider what we do a public benefit. So this is fair use. We're educating the public. We're critiquing the video we are sharing. Now, here's some contradictions from David Wilcock, whose story keeps changing, right?
The Mitsubishi Space Star motor, this is a picture of it for sale, and this is where it fits inside the Mitsubishi Star vehicle. It is a motor that fits inside the Mitsubishi vehicle. Now, this is really strange because our company, Stavati Aerospace, has already been in touch with Mitsubishi regarding potential future collaborations.
I'd like to see some proof of that. I don't think Mitsubishi is doing business with a company that's being sued by investors who called it a Ponzi scheme and an investment scam. But okay, David Wilcock.
Because they build all kinds of stuff, and we could potentially get them helping us building things like hover cars.
Oh, yeah. Now Mitsubishi is going to help David Wilcock build hover cars. By the way, it's almost 2 years ago now that David Wilcock said that they would show a working prototype within 1 year. So far, all David Wilcock's Shady Aerospace Company has done is rent their airplane hangar to a garbage dump company who stores dumpsters in there.
Which is a Space Star motor. The motor that we're going to put in the hover cars, Mitsubishi might help us build our Star motors that will take us to space. And here is the Space Star motor.
That's not what the Mitsubishi Space Star motor is. It has nothing to do with space or anti-gravity, you dumb dickhead. He is a dumb dickhead, this guy. How stupid do you have to be to think that a car engine is going to take you to space, you dumbass?
As I hopefully get my company financed, it looks very good now.
It looks very good. They're being sued for millions and millions of dollars by their creditors and by their investors. And in a recent statement, Stavati Aerospace CEO Christopher Beskar, I had to admit, I think that their account was down to $700. That's all they had in total assets. $700.
We have 3 deals that
Oh,
are extremely
yeah.
close. So
All
I would
these
imagine by
deals.
the end of May that I will be capitalized.
By the end of May, he's going to be all capitalized. They can finally build the hover car. Sure, David. It's been 2 years you've been promising this bullshit.
Thank God.
And by the way, just so everybody's aware, he's promising to build a hover car with anti-gravity technology and a free energy engine, so you won't even have to put fuel in it. You know, at some point, that saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, comes to bear, proving that David Wilcock is one of the world's leading bullshitters. That's what he is.
And this week was a very, very hard week for me. There's 3 different lawsuits I'm fighting all at the same time right now. I think all of them are going to resolve very positively, but it's been very stressful.
Yeah, and I love this. He's complaining that people are suing him. Where was David Wilcock when his partner in slime, the equally scummy Corey Goode, was suing internet critics who said his Buck Rogers science fiction fantasy stories weren't real? Right? Maybe, hey, maybe this is karma, David Wilcock. You sat there like an asshole and said nothing as your slimy partner in selling people false information sued everybody for years that did nothing wrong but say that Corey Goode's stories were fake. Now we know from Corey Goode's own court testimony that those people were right. Corey Goode's stories were fake. But that didn't stop Corey Goode from suing everybody that said his stories were fake. And you said nothing. You did nothing, right? And now you're getting sued by some of those same people that Corey Goode sued. And his charity is being sued. His aerospace company is being sued. And I get it. Sometimes people get sued for not so righteous reasons. But in these cases, I think they are righteous reasons. Stavati is being sued by investors that they ripped off for $1 million. Stavati is being sued by creditors that did work on their facility to the tune of, I believe, hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I'm going from memory, that they never paid. Those are righteous lawsuits. If you rip somebody off for millions of dollars or 1.2 million, whatever it is, between the creditors and the investors, people have the right to sue you and force you to pay them the money that you owe them, David Wilcock. Wonderful.
I have consistently been getting these things happening. A lot of it has to do with Stavati. We had some people put money in, and we're going to give them their money back, but they're asking for unreasonable terms.
Yeah, this is great. So he's saying that the people suing Stavati are asking for unreasonable terms in order to get their money back. But I'm going to show you the paperwork. I'm going to show you the glorious paperwork, thanks to John Spadavaccia, by the way. Shout out to John, who's researching a book on this shady aerospace company. Boy, he's been investigating them. And we've got some paperwork, courtesy of John Spadavaccia, to share with you that will show you David Wilcock is straight lying to everybody. Oh, they're asking for unreasonable terms. No, they're asking for Stavati to make good on what they were promised. And wait till you see what David Wilcock's idiot CEO agreed to for this investor. Wait till you see the return on investment that they promised an investor.
You can't take $1 million and turn it into $5 million. That's because we were going to create profit as a result of the investment, leading to products that we then generate over a period of time. But anyway.
Yeah, but they've never generated a single product. So how are they generating profit when they don't have any product to sell the public? They have no products. Their only income is from a dumpster company that is renting the airplane hangar, right? It's incredible. But back to the, somebody's saying, what an idiot. Here's another clip we want to share with you. We're going to be going through his latest stream, but I just wanted to start off with these because there's some great points here.
Because the third one hit me out of nowhere this week. I did not
Third
expect
lawsuit.
it. There's a woman who's been suing me every 3 months for 6 years. She's addicted to it. And the Colorado system just doesn't stop her from doing this. I don't read them. We just throw them in the box. I usually don't even respond. They always get dismissed. But she just did it again. And I found out on May 7th that I was supposed to be in court on May 8th.
Yeah, that's called a subpoena, you dummy. David Wilcock is being sued. I believe that here he is referencing Ari Stone, which was one of Corey Good's critics that Corey Good sued. So she countersued Corey Good and included David Wilcock and his shady charity in her countersuit. Not good. Doesn't feel good to be sued, right? Especially if you think it's a frivolous lawsuit. Why didn't you stand up for free speech and all those people that Corey Good legally terrorized for what, 4 years now? Why didn't you stand up and say anything about that? Oh, now it's a problem because you're getting your balls sued off now, right? And I'm not going to comment on her case, whether it's frivolous or not. I've read some of the court documents. Essentially, she's claiming that Corey Good and David Wilcock ripped off her material and claimed it as their own. And she has some substantial, I think, evidence that they took stuff from her content and just stole it. That's what she's alleging.
Well, everything got kind of thrown off. The deadline got extended, but it's just all lawfare.
Yeah, it's lawfare, which is something that your slimy buddy, Corey Good, has been putting innocent people through for 4 years. Maybe this is karma, you dumb dickhead. I hope she sues you into oblivion. It's not right to feel that way. I'm going to have to work on that as a person. But how many times can I see David Wilcock ripping people off with fake information, disinformation, misinformation, and not start wishing ill on him? You know, I'm human. Imagine that. All right, and we're going to show you this paperwork. This is where it gets interesting because, let me make that bigger. I apologize. So David Wilcock's shady aerospace company that's never produced any airplane products or a single airplane or sold a single airplane, they promised this investor in this promissory note that if he invested $1 million, they would give him back $5 million. Wow, what a great return on investment. And this is crazy. The paperwork here proves that they were asking for $1 million in a promissory note here, and that they would pay back $5 million over 4 years. Guess how much they've paid back to that investor? Nothing. They spent all his money, and they don't have any money to pay him. And apparently, Stavati has admitted that they used new investment money to pay off old investors, which is the technical and textbook definition of a Ponzi scheme, which is what the investor suing them is alleging. So David Wilcock's getting his company, Stavati, is being sued. He personally is being sued. His shady charity is also being sued as well. So this may explain, I think this explains a lot about David Wilcock. You know, there's reality, and then there's the false narrative that David Wilcock pushes that he's some kind of, he's some kind of, prophet. And John Christian Spadavaccia says, David is trying to pull a fast one on his audience in this clip. Stavati can't repay the plaintiff their $1 million principal back, much less $5 million in interest. They can't even afford lawyers for their New York liens, which threaten their only real asset. Yeah, so liens are about to be placed over their only real asset, which is an airplane hangar. Macario says, this is hilarious. First, Stavati promising 5 times return in 48 months. Wilcock was saying this on his stream 2 weeks ago that Stavati was looking to expand into Texas. There is no way out for this Beskar. They still have the money owed to the contractors. They didn't get. Stavati has a list of issues. Wilcock will keep telling stories about all the incoming deals. 2 weeks ago, he said Japan was ordering 50 jets. Then Sunday, he said all the deals were falling apart. So it is pretty interesting, some of the stuff that, when you look at the actual paperwork, which versus the stuff that David Wilcock is telling his idiot followers, it's pretty interesting. You know, there's reality, and then there's the wacky world of Wilcock, right? He's telling them all kinds of stuff. Oh yeah, these big deals. We're getting these big deals. No, you're not. You're not getting big deals. You're being sued into oblivion, and you can't pay your bills. That's the reality of Stavati. And if David Wilcock was truly dumb enough to invest millions of dollars into this shady aerospace company, good. I hope he loses every penny he invested and then some. Yeah. I was looking for, there was another thing that Mr. Spatavaccia posted. Oh yeah, here I found it. This is interesting. So this is some paperwork from one of the court cases with Stavati Aerospace that shows what they've spending their money on. Oh, and here it is. Their funds had diminished to just $772 due to the payment of business operating expenses. Stavati raised a total of $1,005,500, which served as total investment capitalization for 2022. From this seed capital investment, Stavati engaged Del Morgan for $100,000, as well as USCGP for $55,000, and the government relations expertise of T2 Enterprises for $65,000 to assist with relationships. Stavati also addressed critical outstanding expenses, including those of our law firm. They spent $92,000 on a law firm. Niagara County Industrial Development Agency pilot program cost them $129,000. The payment of outstanding contractor invoices for renovation and mechanical maintenance repairs, $260,000. Support for Stavati Ukraine, as well as Ukrainian refugees, $95,000. And I just want to ask you, if you owned a company that had no income, would you be spending $95,000 of investor money on helping Ukrainian refugees? Repayment of stakeholder loan debt, $96,500. Business credit card payments of $53,000 for a total of $946,591. So there you go. Somebody invested $1 million and they spent it all. Looks like they spent it all. Today, Stavati has a remaining balance of $6,100. Come on, man. How is a company that only has $6,000 in the bank going to build hover cars and advanced technology? The truth is they're not. It's a big shell game. It's been described as a Ponzi scheme and an investment scam in court documents by investors. They're being sued by all their creditors. I don't think they're going to create any product to sell. So that is thanks, Mr. Spatavaccia, who's been doing some great research on these issues. And I love that because that means I don't have to. I can just borrow from him. And Mr. Spatavaccia says the dollar calculations Beskar gives do not comport to the fact that earlier in the letter, they claim to have spent $100,000 of the investor money as part of a seed payment to their investment bank. This whole Beskar letter is very bad for Stavati. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, and this in this same Twitter thread, they're sharing Miss Llaneros is attempting to settle the defamation claim that is pending against Corey Good. Interesting stuff. All right, so we're going to get to, well, I'll take some comments and questions from the live chat before we begin on the video. Amy Collins says, it's not stalking. This is from public record and his own discourse. Yeah, these, I'm not, who's saying stalking? 105 Northside says, for Wilcock's next birthday, I'm going to send him a pair of clown shoes. Yes, and these records that we're sharing are public records, right? Take off your sunglasses so we can clearly see your reptile eyes. Boy, people are accusing me of all kinds of shit lately. Did you know somebody said that I'm wearing a hairpiece? It's a pretty good hairpiece. It must be a glue-on hairpiece. And for the benefit of you idiot, Taro Tarantina, I have a medical condition. It's called third nerve palsy. Go look it up. That's why I wear the glasses, you dumb dickhead. But thanks. Maybe you could go make fun of some kids in wheelchairs for being disabled next, you asshole. Okay, here we go. Say goodbye to your creepy tiny YouTube channel. We are a legion of angels reporting each and every one of your videos for fraudulent stealing content of famous public figures. It's called fair use, you dumb dickhead. Look it up. I guess we have that's probably David Wilcock's wife, ex-wife, right? When is the dildo box going to get sent to Wilcock? It's already been. It's been in the location for years now. We're going to do a big reveal. Legion of Angels. Yeah, I don't think a Legion of Angels is defending a known new age scammer that has been scamming people for literally decades now. But these are some of the things that we face. And yeah, there's something called crowd striking, where one of these people upset with us telling people the truth about their scams gets all their followers to go and mass report our videos. We've made it, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now. We haven't gotten one real community guideline strike for anything that we do here. So best of luck to them. Okay. Well, here, we could take this as a teachable moment. Did you know how many scams David Wilcock has been involved in? And you're still going to defend him? Do you know that he lied to everybody and said he was going to do charity work? He collected $200,000, and then essentially he spent it all on himself and his wife. Did you spend $5,000 on meals and entertainment last year? Because he did, from stupid people like you giving him free charitable donations. He spent $6,000 on software for himself. He did no charity work. What about, do you know about Convergence Pictures LLC, where he took investor money and never made a film? Do you know about the Pete Peterson GoFundMe scam that stole $50,000 from the UFO community? Do you know about the Emery Smith PayPal donations scam that also stole $50,000 from the UFO community? Based on, yeah, it is true. It is true. And you're an idiot if you don't believe me, but you believe some asshole who's telling you that angels are telling him to take baths in his own piss, you asshole. How about that? His private life? That's his private life? No, those were public scams, you idiot. Those were public scams on GoFundMe, on YouTube, on Jimmy Church's shitty radio show. He ran those scams. That's not his private life. That's a public scam that he ran. And now his shady aerospace company, do you know that there's garbage dumpsters inside his airplane hangar? Do you know they're being sued by all their creditors for hundreds of thousands of dollars of unpaid bills? Do you know that somebody's suing them for $1 million? They feel like they got defrauded. They called this company an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme. And you're going to come in here and tell me I'm wrong? Have you done the research? Have you read all the court documents? You dumb bitch. All right, I'm getting upset. Let's just move on to the video. I apologize for calling her that. I apologize. But you coming here to defend a literal scammer who keeps scamming people, it says everything that you need to know. Yeah, I am. Yeah. I'm the devilish guy. I'm not the one claiming I'm in communication with angels who are telling me to take baths in my own piss. Oh, by the way, let's get to that next because we have to congratulate Gabber Beast TV, who did this incredible. He did an incredible job. He went into the live chat and so Gabber Beast TV is a friend of the show. He's been a guest here and he's from Australia. But anyway, he went into David Wilcock's live chat and started asking him about the baths and piss and how to get the superpowers. And so he got a wonderful clip, and we're going to share that here. If I can find it. Oh yeah, here. All right. This is from our Discord. By the way, you should join our Discord. All right. Oh, wait a minute. All right, we're going to share this from Gabbard Beast TV. He got David Wilcock to explain how you get the superpowers from taking baths in your own piss. You got to love it, friends. Fair use. Baths in your own piss, according to David Wilcock.
Gabber Beast TV says, David, can you please share with us the dream you had with Archangel Michael and how if we bathe in our own urine, we can gain superpowers? What do we need to do this? Well, we're not actually talking about so-called urine therapy right now, but yeah, so I did have a protocol that Michael had me doing where I would be in the bathtub every day for like a half an hour. It was a heavy metal detox. My father was exposed to Agent Orange, which is dioxin in Vietnam. And so doing the bath does help. And you urinate after you drink water. You urinate before you get into the bathtub, and then you drink new water.
You piss in the bathtub while you're in there.
You can do a little more. You can do a little more. You can do a little more. And there are a certain amount of cells in your urine that are your cells. And so it creates a telepathic transmitting effect in the water that gets you into what I call stretch space or time space. I call it stretch space because it's very stretchy. Ha 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 ha. He bathed in his pee-pee. Okay, well, that's the very highbrow commentary that we got. Sauna is great for detoxification. Okay, David, thank you very much for sharing the information with us. Many blessings to you, my friends. It's Gabbard Beast TV.
Yeah, so Gabbard Beast TV, basically, he pretended to be one of his big supporters and followers, thanking him for this great information. And he got him to tell us the story of how you take baths in your own piss to get superpowers.
And then it goes on and on from there. So I gotta keep moving. People are going to get mad. Anyway, let's go back over here.
And this is Gabbard Beast TV. He's speaking in Chinese because Gabbard Beast TV is a big broadcaster in China, of all places. And so he got David Wilcock to talk about the baths and piss and how you get superpowers. We're going to put that in his original clip, telling everybody that the Archangel Michael told him to take baths in his own piss to get superpowers. We're going to put that. Put a video together of that. Harbingers of the first wave of ascension. And there's 3 hours of this. I don't know how much of this we're going to get through. And by the way, before we begin with the commentary portion, every time we do this, people leave nasty messages in the comments saying, why are you talking over him? Why, I can't hear what he's saying. You can go to David Wilcock's channel if you just want to listen to him. I have to speak over it, or it's not commentary and not fair use. So I'm sorry if you don't like that. I apologize. I'll try to stop it. But if I stop it every few minutes, we're going to be here for 7 hours. So we try to get through it as quickly as possible. Let's begin on the latest festival of bullshittery of David Wilcock, friends.
Oh, man, everybody. It is on like Donkey Kong. And I am here. I'm your buddy, David Wilcock.
No,
and I decided today that I was going to wear something special for you. The events that we're going through are actually worthy of a purple shirt. And for the first time, public debut, Trump slippers, baby. Now, how did I get these?
You can buy them on Amazon.
I guess I borrowed them when I was in D.C. and I went to the Trump Hotel, which is now something.
Or you can buy them on Amazon.
But you know, if I ever do meet Trump, I will return these slippers if he wants them. You know, I borrowed them. I didn't actually take them. I just borrowed the slippers because you know, how else am I going to remember that I went to Washington D.C. to this amazing hotel? So they're keeping my feet nice and warm. If that upsets people, then you're probably not going to like the rest of the show either. But, you know, hey, I'm going to give them back. I'm not trying to ask at this point. It's an incentive if he ever does want to meet with me.
People are sharing
feels
on Twitter. You can buy them on
there's an
Amazon.
exchange that needs to be made here, and that I kind of got off track.
And by the way,
right.
just to remind people, he previously claimed that he was getting special coins from Intel work, from going to Intel briefings. I'm going to show you the graphic. So he held up these 2 coins during the live stream and claimed that he got them during secret classified Intel. And we previously covered here that you could buy those coins. You got it on eBay. I bought them on eBay. He didn't get them from top secret briefings. He is a liar and a scammer and a deceiver of men. Let's go back to the video. Pardon me. We got a lot to get through. Let's try to power through the bullshit festival.
Just a loan. I only lended the slippers. I didn't buy the slippers. They probably charged me for it anyway because they noticed it was missing from the room. It was like over $4,000. So these are like the $4,000 slippers. Anyway.
Yeah, right. He paid $4,000
hey,
for a pair of Trump slippers.
Let's have some comments.
Who wouldn't give them back?
Purple shirt.
You can buy them on Amazon for $20, by the way.
Better MFGA.
I'll check.
Stealing from a great man is okay. I did not steal. Okay, I did not steal these slippers. These were legitimately borrowed. All right, and they were in the room. They were lying around, and I said, someday I'm going to give these back. If he wants them, maybe he'll let me keep them, but it's up to him. He'll decide when we meet what he wants to do with this. Hey, Dave, miss you, buddy. I miss you, too. Can I borrow those slippers? La Vida Dadita says, something like that.
Yeah, they're $20 on Amazon.
Return them to Trump. How much were they? I have no idea. I mean, I didn't actually... it could have been on my bill. I didn't really look. But, I probably already paid them. Digital Soldier
yes, Golden
says,
Showers.
for $4,000, you deserve them.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Tell us what the most important things are right now. Awesome, David Wilcock.
1 second. We want to take a moment to recognize and thank some very kind and generous people. Kind and generous £2 super chat from Rotary Motion, who is also a member. Thank you for both being a member. Zizix, a kind and generous $5. Thanks for being a member. And the $5 super chat says, I believe David Wilcock and Joe Biden were friends in a life. Okay. Rotary Motion with another kind and generous £2. Zizix with another kind and generous $2. David Wilcock is Joe Biden's son. Yeah, I think that you might be right, but we want to take a moment to thank all of you kind and generous benefactors. We'll be checking in with the PayPal pledges as well. For those unaware, you can send funds through PayPal, instructions in the description of the video, or just hit that money button and send a super chat. We thank every single person who sent some support our way. Thank you, guys. All right, let's, I'm sorry I missed those earlier. For those unaware, we read every single one, and we appreciate the support since David Wilcock is stealing $20 or $30 of my ad revenue for doing this show from me.
From Slovenia.
Because he needs the money.
Worldwide
right?
Auroras, baby. Yeah, this is a very, very exciting time. Do the Trump slippers help with ascension? Maybe they do. Maybe I'm going to get there even faster. I don't really know. Ha ha ha. Darlene Ryan says, I love those slippers.
Yeah, right, Talman.
Fuller says, David,
yeah, I can lick my own eyeballs. Sure.
Star to Earth says, hotel slippers do not get reused. Enjoy them. That might be true. I didn't even really thought of that, right? People's feet are so freaking nasty. Like, would you want to have... In Japan, they do, though. In Japan, they reuse slippers, I have to say. Arigatou gozaimasu, doitashimashite. And suripa, why you no wear suripa? People would get all upset with me because they didn't want to wear these slippers. I'm like, dude, you got these slippers in the room, okay? And they're just like hanging out, and they are not big enough for my feet. Trump slippers are, just barely. But the ones in Japan were not even big enough for my feet.
How much for a new forehead?
To, like, wear them when you go to the bathroom. And I'm like, well, how do I know that the other guy hasn't like stepped in dog shit or something? It's just really kind of disgusting. They are flying in right now. Carla Gibbler says
he's the one that said the slippers cost $4,000. You dummy, not me. I didn't say that. He did.
But I hopefully will be soon. It would be really
David
easy.
Wilcock is one of the best comedians
Ricardo
of this
Molina says,
generation.
God will punish all those who worship the beast and the beast idol and agree to have his mark.
Let the snake in. Don't get mad when it
Probably
bites you,
true.
says Christopher
Monica
V.
Saint
Very
Denis
true.
Country says,
Very,
good morning,
very
David
true.
from San Diego. Good morning, Denise. Or Monica, sorry. Hey, David, looking great. How are you, David? I love your stuff, says Jonathan Casto. I'm sure Trump won't mind. Well, we're going to find out. You know, if
Bipolar much.
I ever get to talk to him, then we're going to have to discuss the slipper incident. You know, it's
he's a big Trump.
A little bit embarrassing, but I figured, what the hell, I have to make a confession.
Big cute
I'm
tart
holding on to
too.
this secret. It's been burning me up inside, and I just really wanted to wear the slippers because I got to do something to make you laugh. So there you go. I think we're going to be okay. I think he's going to be fine with it. We're already up to 1775 viewers. That's really close to the magic number 1776. Oh, we just went up to 1885.
Yeah, he had something like 4,000 live viewers, which is incredible to me. 4,000
So
stupid
sorry
people
about that, you
would
guys.
tune in to
You know,
hear
you
him
learn
lie to
kind
them.
of the hard way with this guy David, that you never really know when he's going to be on, and he might. Yes, happy Mother's Day to the mamas out there, says Mish D.
I'm embarrassed.
Absolutely, happy Mother's
too.
Day to everyone.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why I didn't want to do the demonic horror show yet. We were going to do a demon horror show, and I started reading this stuff, and I started crying.
Yeah,
and
he
like,
spent
dude,
like
I'm not ready
tens
for
of
the
thousands of
poems about
dollars on
demons hunting me
a
down and
B&B,
eating me,
Airbnb too.
which I wrote. It's a very, very intense augmentation to the show we did last week. The show I did last week was very, very intense.
Yeah, there's definitely an overlap
Donna
there.
Gorton says
Cameron
no
T.
to Trump. Okay, well, Donna, most of the people.
Wilcock has a
okay with
5-head, not a
slippers.
4-head. Says
But this is how we. This is how we get through
it's
the
pretty
day.
big.
Monica
It's
Saint
getting
Denis
bigger
says,
too.
yes
His
to Trump.
hairline is moving back.
The Watcher says, "Please stop lying, saying you talk with Archangel Michael." Well, how am I lying? I mean,
Yeah,
the fact
why
is,
did
I
he
don't
spend
read books.
4,000 on a hotel room
Online in
instead of the
1999,
refrigerator he
it was using
desperately
remote viewing
needed?
protocols. That's what the source identified as. I didn't know what it was saying,
Not enough padded rooms.
and if I had known, I probably would have dug in there earlier because it's all
The
very
demons are
dangerous
going to
stuff.
sue Wilcock for
It's very, very
slander.
pertinent to what we got going on now. So there's always going to be some trolls. We don't really mind that. Some people don't like the slippers. Okay, that's fine. My goal has always been to try to get you to look at this a different way, to not see that it's just this doom and gloom situation. And if you only go with what the mainstream media says, they want people to be hanging on to the edge of their seats. Oh my God, please let these trials, nail him so he doesn't run for office. Well, look, it's only 4 years, and
you're telling me that you're reporting my live stream for what? What have we done wrong?
You find out
what have we done
the
wrong?
other team is really, really batting for the bad guy, and we're going to go through a lot of.
I'm
that
allowed to
evidence
use this
today.
content. It's called fair use. Do you see the fair use
If it's
banner?
a choice between two options that you don't like, well, one of them, when you really learn the truth, you're going to not like it a heck of a lot more. So in that case, I got some slippers here, and you might want to think about wearing them. I'll just put that out there. Show some loyalty, show some allegiance. Get ready for the big reveal. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Line yourself up positively. But taking them out of the hotel might not be a good idea. So you can probably buy them. They're probably available
he could have
online.
went to a Motel 8, but chose a
Rishi
ritzy
Tarot
high
says,
luxury hotel
can you
room.
talk about
Sure.
ascension slippers? And then somebody says, send trolls to the troller derby. That was Omar.
His goal has always been money. Yeah.
Hey. Hello, David from Grand Junction, Colorado. I'm fine with Trump or RFK, but not a
David
hair
Wilcock
sniffer.
ass licker. That's
Absolutely.
who she is. She wants to lick his asshole.
RFK, there's a lot of problems there too. I'm not.
And
really happy with some of his
isn't it
positions.
funny? David Wilcock's whole fan base is old ladies, right? That's who gives him money. Old ladies. He doesn't have any young hot girl fans. He's got old ladies. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I guess. It's an observation.
Well,
if you ever get to see him do a live event, look in the audience at the women.
I'm having people come in the room. So part of what's going on is we're now at 2,184 people live. It's probably going to become, 4,000 to 6,000 momentarily. Anyway, I had
Could
to rush
be,
to do
yeah.
this
Who
show
knows?
today. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's get into the content.
Or she was Wilcock. Yeah.
We're dealing with a lot of stuff right now, and it all was a build-up to an event that happened this week that was so fantastic, with the sun releasing this energy that it blew my mind. I have to be honest with you.
Yeah,
this week
I knew that he was going to.
Incredible amount of ups and downs.
He's going to pretend that the solar flare event has something to do with his predictions.
And the triumph really was this solar flash which, as it turns out, is as significant as the Carrington event in 1859. It's the same size as an M5 solar flare. And we had all kinds of geomagnetic activity. So this morning, I wasn't wearing the Trump slippers, but I was in the bathroom and I was sitting on the toilet right before sunrise. It was around 4:45 a.m. And I typically sleep, in a cyclical pattern where I get up in the middle of the night after 5 or 6 hours. And unfortunately, when you sleep up at this altitude, it's almost impossible to get 8 hours of sleep.
Oh God, that's such total bullshit. I have a cabin in the mountains. You can get 8 hours sleep just fine.
A situation where it's just murderously difficult to keep enough hydration. It's very dry up here and there's very low oxygen. So if you put bread out on the countertop, in a couple hours, it's going to turn to a piece of rock. And what that also does is it makes your body work harder. So I have to use humidifiers. And then, so anyway, you get up after 4 to 6 hours at the best, sometimes even less, and you have to pee.
Oh, you got to get up to piss.
So I did a 5-hour cycle and then a 3-hour cycle last night. And when I got up at 4:45, I had lightning, but there was no thunder. It was just what they would call heat lightning. And so
You ever notice that he talks about a bunch of nonsense in every stream like it's important?
Every minute.
Oh, there was lightning.
I'd have in about 1 second this flash of approximately 7 different lights that would flash all at the same time. And so it would all happen in 1 second, and then it would happen again after like another minute, and then it would happen again after another minute. Well, these are orbs. These are phenomena that create light, and they don't create thunder. They're ball lightning, if you will. And I've done a whole lot of stuff on this. And we've had delays on our film Levitation coming out. Hopefully it will come
that's
out.
funny.
We're still working on it.
So,
but in the meantime, Levitation, the movie, when it comes out.
Yeah, his Levitation movie. That's pretty funny. This is the woman who was defending David Wilcock.
Dos recomendaciones.
She's a tarot card reader and a wackadoo.
No puedo creerlo.
I just figured we would mention that. And it's funny also, I retitled David's live stream. David Wilcock lies on his live stream for 3 hours straight.
About this ball lightning phenomenon. It's very fascinating, but it was happening this morning.
Yeah, it's better when he cries, Pathfinder.
The ball lightning was the result of our Earth going through this phenomenal shift.
He gets up to pee in his bath.
Biggest solar
he's got to fill that tub every day, Pete.
Mountain ranges, the ley lines on the Earth are often where the mountain ranges form. Ley lines are these energy fields that I've talked about.
Heat lightning in high elevation Colorado on May 12th. Come on.
The 12 points around the Earth where you have Bermuda Triangle effects, including the North and South Pole.
Yeah, that was her. I went straight to her channel. By the way, I hit her on the channel.
12 Devil's Graveyards around
and just to be clear, I don't believe in having an echo chamber here. But if you come to my channel, come in my live chat and threaten that you and your friends are mass reporting my videos for illegally using David Wilcock's material, no, we're not. And you're not welcome here. And yeah, I hit her on the channel. So good luck reporting my videos. We're not doing anything wrong here.
And when planes are flying through them, they disappear. When ships are sailing through them, they disappear sometimes. There's thousands of these records on file.
Maybe she could sell her house and give the proceeds to David.
Each other. And if you play connect the dots on Earth, you get the global grid.
People have a right to know who's coming here and threatening my channel. She came here and threatened my channel.
Triangular faces, a total of 12 of them. And then the Russian scientist Goncharov, Morozov, and Zakharov found out you can invert the geometry, turn it inside out, and then you get the dodecahedron.
Yeah, maybe.
And now you've got the perfect delineation of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. All kinds of volcanic ridges around the Earth are drawn by this geometry, and it all starts with the 12 points.
You just can't see what David really is. Yeah, she's stupid, in other words.
Along these ley lines, and again, there's mountain ranges, there's undersea volcanic ridges that follow it perfectly.
He could sell his Fender guitar for something to eat.
It's an amazing thing that I've talked about in my new course.
I hate to call a woman the C word, but that woman was funny.
We do have a special deal, though, going just on.
Oh, look, here's the pitch. Buy my shit.
Disclosure.com.
Buy my books from the angels. The angels want me to sell you this book. Because that's what angels want. They want me to sell books.
The best deal I can possibly
with their
do.
secret revelations.
Of working all the time on this to finish it. I would typically get up, as I said, 4:30 in the morning.
Probably another grifter, too.
I'd just start writing again. I'd write until I pass out.
This guy lives in a conspiracy wormhole.
Then I'd get up again.
Yes.
That was
Adam's just laughing at all of this.
Codename Revelation, thedisclosure.com. All the stuff I'm telling you about is in these books. Okay.
Boy, he's sniffing a lot again.
The solar event was very, very provocative because, if you recall, just last week, what was I talking about? I was talking about the prophecies of the Virgin Mary at Garabandal.
I knew he was going to claim that the solar, solar storm had something to do with his wackadoo predictions. I knew it.
That took place in 1961 to 65 that attracted gigantic crowds full of people. And specifically, these children had very strange phenomena occurring. When they were talking to the Virgin Mary, there would be this amazing perfume that would come off of them that did not exist before.
I can't believe that he's involving Christian mysticism now in his grift. He's run out of all the Hindu and Buddhist stuff. He's even ripping off stuff from the Quran from Muslims lately.
Very strong incense type of smell, which is actually an anti-demonic smell, if you remember that show. The Virgin Mary would appear and everybody would smell this wonderful, wonderful frankincense and myrrh type of incense, just like what Jesus got. The children were able to kneel down on sharp rocks and not have any pain. And there also was an incident where a communion wafer manifested inside one of the children's mouths. And, the skeptics, of course, accused the children of doing stage magic. They had the perfume hidden under their armpit. They had the communion wafer. They stuck it in their mouth, whatever. If you want to believe that, that's fine. However,
fangirling David Wilcock is a low
and
IQ
Archangel
indicator.
Michael were both involved in this.
I believe you are correct.
With my work, we had this troll guy here saying, "Oh, David thinks he's in touch with Archangel Michael." Look, this wasn't something that I wanted per se. This was something
you
that
could be right, Adam. I'm not an expert.
I had to deal with it. I had to deal with the fact that I did this remote viewing. I read Dr. Courtney Brown's book.
You're correct.
On Art Bell. It was called Cosmic Voyage.
And they're going to clarify that next week. They're coming out with a statement about
he also
Marian
to
apparitions
in Georgia. I didn't have the money to do that, but I did practice these protocols. And I'd actually been doing psychic stuff my whole life. I'd been remembering complex dreams my whole life.
Yeah.
So I was really a good fit to be able to hit the ground running when I started practicing this technique. You listen inside your mind.
Well, that he couldn't make her come.
State of meditation,
and he got sick when he had to bang a woman.
Pictures and words.
He said that on the last stream. He got sick when he had to have sex with a woman.
Words without any interference. This has predicted the future so accurately in so many ways.
Good question, Talbot.
That nobody
Thanks for being a member.
Can legitimately oppose it. All they do is they resort to ad hominem character attacks. What does ad hominem mean? Against the person. They don't actually attack the data because the data is so incontrovertible that you can't even fight the data. The prophecies are so redundant, like I said.
Yeah, we've been listening to these streams that he's been making for months now. Has he once shown one prophetic prediction and proof that he wrote it before something happened that predicted the future? But he says the data is incontrovertible. I want to see the data, David Wilcock. Why don't you show the data that proves that you're accurately predicting the future? He can't and he won't, because he's not accurately predicting the future. He's writing a bunch of nonsense or using a bunch of nonsense rambling writings from the 90s that he did, claiming that they predict the future, connecting all these dots that don't exist.
Red-lined marks on almost every page of all 7 books. It talks about so many things that are going on in today's world. It totally describes the alliance. And so, again,
David
it gives a very
good
alternative view of Donald Trump. Remember, I didn't like Trump in the beginning. I was actually another one of those haters out there. I didn't like the way things went down with Rosie O'Donnell, for example. I never watched.
Sorry, I somehow got kicked out of my own stream. Something wacky going on with the mouse. Maybe it's the Men in Black. We'll continue. Now he's talking about his This big Trump
I
fandom.
wasn't really that into it until I started to find out that there's way more to this whole situation than meets the eye. And that is why, as I've said, he has earned my loyalty. He has earned my love, my trust, and my respect. If that pisses you off, I'm sorry. But when you understand why he's been hated so much, it's all going to make sense. This is not just because of these supposedly bad things that he's done. All those trials are falling apart. It's because he's responsible for the largest covert operation in the history of humankind on Earth. There has never been anything like this before.
Now,
where you have
Donald
the
Trump
military
is
and
a
the intelligence
superhero?
community, not just of America, but most of the world, participating in a campaign not to do stealth state capture like they usually do, where they take over an innocent country. And that was happening all over the world, as you can hear in the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman, for example. But instead, this is a massive covert operation to expose
I don't know what's going on with that.
the dark side.
Somebody on Twitter
And
saying the
people who
video
are
quality
running the
here is
world
bad.
actually do practice evil. And they believe that it works. And again, it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. They are as serious as a heart attack about this. And they practice these ceremonies, and it does usually involve some type of murder. And then in the process of this, they think, and it could
They're
be a
murdering
hallucination,
people.
whatever drugs they're taking, and you know what those drugs are. But they
People are
think
being
that they're
murdered,
seeing
right?
some kind of manifestation of a creature.
Oh, they're seeing
And
creatures.
a lot of them have horns, and they would be called demons. And the demon gets directly involved in the event that they are all there to produce, which involves a victim. So I was going to do a show that would have been very disturbing, but it's probably not a good idea for Mother's Day, of poems describing my full sight of these events and how horrific they are. So come back next week if you dare.
Oh, he's going to do a
Demonic horror
scary
and
show.
angelic rescue. That's what we're going to be talking
Come
about next week.
on.
But I realized, man, I can't get through this without crying. When I started to think about the lyrics of the poem, I started to cry. I'm
He's
like,
going
okay,
to
I'm just not
cry.
ready.
He's going to cry.
And this week was a very, very hard week for me. There's 3 different lawsuits.
Oh, here we hear about the lawsuit.
Fighting all at the same time right now. I think all of them are going to resolve very positively, but it's been very stressful because the third one hit me out of nowhere this week. I did not expect it. There's a woman who's been suing me every 3 months for 6 years. She's addicted to it.
By the way, that's a complete and total lie. I've seen the court documents. She is not suing him every 3 months. That's bullshit. That's complete and totally factually inaccurate statement.
And the Colorado system just doesn't stop her from doing this. I don't read them.
Yeah, he's already
Moments
planning that
pause.
he'll
I
be
usually don't
crying
even
that night
respond.
on
They
stream.
always get dismissed. But she just did it again, and I found out
Here
on May
comes the
7th
grift.
that I was supposed to be in court on May 8th. Well, everything got kind of thrown off. The deadline got extended, but it's just all lawfare. So it's very difficult to be constantly sued. It's not a fun thing.
Yeah, why don't you
It's
tell
not
Corey
gonna
Good to
have
stop
common
suing
sense.
everybody?
I have consistently been getting these
Tell
things
everybody to stop
happening.
suing
A lot of it has to
everybody.
do with Stavati. We had some people put money in, and we're going to give them their money back, but they're asking for unreasonable terms.
They're asking for the money you
can't take
promised
$1 million
them.
and turn it into $5 million. That's because we were going to create profit as a result of the investment, leading to products that we then generate.
Yeah,
over
I don't
a period of
know.
time. But anyway, aside from that, the trolls love this stuff.
The trolls love this stuff. Yeah, we love it when karma comes to call.
Trolls love the fact that the deep state, or whatever you want to call it, the intelligence communities, they're part of it is from them. They throw these things at us. They keep trying to drag us down. We have had unbelievable, unrelenting interference. And then also
Now
this
it's the
week, we
deep
were
state.
highly
The deep-
misled by a potential
the deep
investor.
state is
Bear in
not
mind, I have
suing
7
him.
others. We have
People that
some
they
very,
ripped off
very
for money
sizable
are
things
suing
going
them.
on. I really don't think it's going to be a problem, and it's going to be very soon. We have orders coming in from 2 countries right away, actually 3 now. We have multiple investors, but we had one investor party
Yeah,
who
I'm
wanted to
checking
do a
in,
fairly
and the
significant
quality looks good on all the
investment
feeds
for
that
us.
I
They
just
delayed
checked.
it for a long
So I
time.
don't know.
I joked
You
in
know,
LA about
doing
something
the-
called the Tuesday Friday game.
Did a
This
quick
is where
check.
the
It looks
the
good on
money
mine.
is coming,
Every
but they tell you
stream
that
that I
it's
see
going to be here on
looks
Tuesday,
like good
and then when
quality.
that
I don't
doesn't
know
work
what's
out, they
going
tell
on.
you it's going to be on Friday, and then when that doesn't work out, they tell you it's going to be on Tuesday. So we laugh about this. We call it the Tuesday Friday game.
Get it a
ha,
real
ha,
job,
ha.
David. Yes.
But people really do this stuff. They mislead you. And so we had a conversation with these people. I was on the call. It seemed to go very well. It sounded like they were about to close. And if that had been the case, if they had been true to their word, then right now, by this Sunday, I would have already had all those bills paid, all the lawsuits would be gone, everything would be fine.
Yeah, if he could just get 250,000 people to super chat him $20.
No indication that they were going to come back with this comprehensive. I mean, it had 8 main parts, but then each part had like 5 subsections. So like they came back with like 40 different categories.
Yeah, how come the Archangel Michael didn't warn him about the
essentially
lawsuits?
the
Good
blueprint
point.
for a hostile takeover of our company. They wanted information about our shareholders, their names, their addresses, their contact info, how much money they put in, what percentage of the company they have. There's something called no foreign, NOFORN, and that means that no foreign actors are allowed to have this confidential information about our board of directors. So we can't just give that information out.
You're
And then
public
probably one of the
company
most
soliciting
upsetting things is
investment
they
money.
wanted to have
You have to give out
an
that
officer
information.
who has to approve every single transaction that we spend money on, even though they were only going to be investing a small percentage of the money we intend to raise. So no, we can't
Didn't
have
warn him
one
about the
person
divorce
who has
either.
a veto power
Yeah.
over everything we do, especially if this person, by his own statement of admission, refuses to read our paperwork. He just wanted to put money in and not look at it. Well, you can't do that and also control everything that we do if you're not going to pay any attention to it. So as far as I'm concerned, the deal is toast. I felt highly disrespected. And in fact, it was bad enough with this and all and the lawsuits and everything else going on that I actually did have a relapse. I used medication because I was just so stressed
Oh,
out.
you had to smoke a
I was
joint.
so upset,
Oh.
and the betrayal was so severe. In fact, I had a dream about Hannibal Lecter, and that was a comparison to what happened in this deal. If you're going to talk to me on the phone and you're going to talk about what you can do, and you tell me certain things, I consider that a gentleman's agreement. I consider that a promise. I don't expect to see a list of 40 things that we never talk about that are highly invasive, that are going to make anybody angry. And then they say, well, we're not going to do it unless you do all these things. No, you don't get to take over the company. Sorry. And you don't get to look at everybody's.
The company's worthless.
It's
Who
not gonna
cares
happen.
if somebody takes it over?
So, like I said, it's okay.
It's millions of dollars in debt.
I'm definitely committed to staying sober, and I may occasionally use it ceremonially, but the main thing for me now is
Oh,
that
sir,
I want to
he's going to
predominantly
smoke
never
pot
use it. So all
ceremonially.
during the week, it's not going to happen. I haven't used anything today, but I did have to use to get through this
He is
because
something
I had
else.
incredible stress. Another thing that was very significant to me.
Everybody's suing me. I had
Finally,
to
after
smoke some
2.5
pot.
years of the most profound torture, I replaced my refrigerator. I used Whirlpool has their own kind of luxury brand.
Him having a
like
noisy
entry-level luxury
refrigerator was
called Jen Air.
torture.
So I did not get a new Sub-Zero because those are very expensive. I got a cheaper fridge, if you want to call it that.
Oh, too bad.
Thank
You
God
didn't get a
was gonna
top of the
find one
line
locally in
fridge.
stock from Jen Air that fits the crack perfectly. Is 42 inches wide, 7 feet tall, 84 inches tall. So we
Yeah,
got
he's
that in there,
traumatized by a refrigerator.
and I had
What
such
an
a huge
asshole.
panic attack on
What a
that
loser.
day on Friday that again I ended up using because I just couldn't handle the stress. And so the medication does have certain value if you're really having a hard time and you're in a place where you can use
David
it without a
Wilcock
problem
is
like I am here,
traumatized by a
and it is legal.
hangnail. Yes.
I'm so conditioned though from
He's
1992
laughable.
when I
He
got
sure
sober
is.
that I can't use it at all. But I'm still in a war. We're not done. There's very, very intense
He's in a
stuff going
war.
on. Plus, we had all these solar emissions occurring. So it was a very intense week. I was terrified that the fridge wasn't going to fit in the crack. I was terrified because the guy says, "Oh, this when I played him the sound of the old refrigerator, he said this doesn't sound like it's loud at all." I'm like, and he didn't even think the new one was going to be any quieter. Like, well, the guy at the store told me it would be. And he said that other people complained about 25-year-old Sub-Zeros. They have huge compressors. They get very, very loud.
How much time on these streams has he wasted crying about a noisy refrigerator? Talk about first world problems. Do you know, David Wilcock, there are people starving all over the world right now? There are famines. People are dying from hunger. And you're crying and complaining because your refrigerator in your multi-million-dollar mansion is too loud for you.
Well, I was so nervous. It took the whole day, but they eventually got it in there. We plugged it in, and I could not believe it. It's probably about 700% quieter than my other refrigerator was. So for me, this has been life-saving. So the main
He
reason
smells
why
his own
I didn't
farts
have
for
a show
hours.
listed before today is that I spent yesterday almost like crying because I was so happy that
He
I
only
finally,
cares about
thanks to your
himself.
donations,
Yeah.
he's calling me right now. I finally, thanks to your donations, was able to not have this horrible sound destroying my
Yes, the
life,
fridge he
destroying my
said he
peace of
got
mind.
is $1,500
So
on the
instead
low
of that,
end.
I really should turn off my. Nobody's ever called me during a live stream before. Somebody might be mad that I talked about this investor, but look, if you guys are willing to drop all this crazy stuff, we will still work.
He got the
with you,
fridge.
but there are certain conditions that are going to happen.
Thank God, because it was
Okay?
traumatizing
We'll still work
him.
with
It
you,
was
but
so
you gotta be more
noisy.
reasonable. The letter I felt was very disrespectful. So that's all I'm going to say more on that. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
back on
say
his
any more.
drug of
If somebody's
choice.
freaking out
Yes.
about me talking about it, don't worry, I'm done. That's all I'm going to say. It would be
I
nice.
can
if we could
imagine
bring
he's
them back.
awfully
It
selfish.
really
Yeah.
would, because it would solve all of our problems. We had a great talk on the phone. I really liked
His
these guys.
life-saving
It
fridge.
felt very underhanded the way they did this. That's all I'm going to say. So anyway, the fridge has changed
Thanks,
my
Adam
life.
Marquis.
It's so much quieter that all the things
His
I had
life
to do
is
with wearing
just so much
earplugs in the
better
house
now.
and all this kind of stuff, it's not a factor anymore. It's so much quieter. It's just incredible, and I feel so much better. The fact that this noise was happening all the time was making me constantly angry and agitated and sad, and it really did dramatically
Thanks, Wingnuts. It's
improve
good to know.
my life when I got it replaced. So I have just felt so good. It's so wonderful to have a quiet home for the first time. I just can't even tell you. So it really is a whole new life for me.
How noisy
and I
could
feel
that
very, very
refrigerator
happy about
have
what's going
been?
on. So with all that said,
Such a pussy,
I
this
want to
guy.
dig into the events that have taken place just since our last show, because again, the big focus of the
imagine
last
that, or living
show
in the city and hearing
was
all
the
the
Virgin
all
Mary
the
prophecies
shit
of
in the city.
Garabandal. As I said, these little girls were, bringing in
Yeah, it made him
Archangel
agitated
Michael
and
Virgin
sad.
Mary, and it was
Such
fascinating
problems,
what
a
they were talking
noisy
about.
fridge. It's all about
And,
David. Yes.
This is not just a joke. This is real. They were saying in this, Archangel Michael and Mary said in these prophecies that there would be an event they called the warning. And the warning is going to be some type of event in which it's apparently associated with solar activity, a major burst of solar activity, but that there is some type of psychedelic effect that this causes.
I knew that he was going to claim that solar stuff has something to do with his
where
stupid
people
predictions.
now see a cosmic pattern for their soul. They actually have a glimpse of cosmic consciousness. They see who they really are.
Oh,
They
see who we really are.
Interested for the first time in their soul. Maybe they've realized where they stepped short. They have this divine consciousness, this like what the samadhi, you could call it that in the classic tradition. I mean, this is amazing.
This is
and so
amazing.
to have this happen in the 1960s prophecies, they said it was a warning, and they said that
good one,
after this
Sandra
occurred,
McDonald.
we're gonna
Thanks
go
for being
back
here.
to
Thanks for being a
normal for
member.
while. I'd never heard that before. In my
He's
book,
a
it doesn't
spoiled
say that.
narcissist, says
It didn't
Patty.
say one
I
way or
believe
the
you're
other. I
correct.
assumed this was all going to happen at once. But then Garabandal comes in and says, no.
He'd
It's
eat
gonna
with you
be
as
an
long as
event
you were
called
buying.
warning, where you're going to have cosmic consciousness, a glimpse of the destiny of your soul, and then everybody's going to try to write it off as, oh, it was the effect of the solar flare. People got mentally confused. We don't know what it is. After the warning,
It's all
we're either
about
going to
David.
have one of
Yes.
two things occur. And this is what the prophecy states. It's either going to be a chastisement or a miracle. The chastisement is very frightening because it describes a solar flash that basically just destroys all life on Earth. And then we
Yes,
all
and
have
he's
to
been
be
talking
rescued
about this
before
since the year
happens.
2000.
Whoever
It's
has
never
sinned
happened.
has to be
And
rescued.
he's talking
in
about it
Noah's Ark type
again.
of fashion.
More
So
false
that's one
predictions from
potential
a false
outcome of how this
prophet.
could occur.
He was King
But at the
David.
same time,
I don't recall him
we
saying
have
that,
other
but
stuff
yeah.
going on, which is that we're going to be also dealing with
Tarot's Legion left
miracle.
one dislike.
Whether we get the
Oh, how will I ever
chastisement,
recover
which is the
archaic
ultimate proof of the
revival?
miracle,
Her Legion of
has to do
Angels.
with whether
We
we
never
listen
get
to the
dislikes.
warning or
That's
not.
pretty funny.
If we see that our souls have places
The
that we
Legion
need
of
to work on
Angels
that we
left
haven't
us one
worked on,
dislike.
and we don't fix it, then yeah, we're going to have a problem, and it's going to be the chastisement. But if we learned our lessons, then we get the miracle, which is that people begin having ascended ability. This is what it says in the Michael books.
Here he
And in
is.
The
He's got-
Garabandal prophecies.
He's promising superpowers. And just so everybody's aware, he promised everybody superpowers leading up to the year 2000. Then he promised everybody superpowers again leading up to the year 2012. He's right now promising people that you'll get superpowers soon. Buy my books so that you can prepare and know how to use your superpowers. How grifty and scammy and shady is this man?
They say that there's going to be some miracle thing that you can see at Garabandal that will never go away, that will stay from that point forward. So Michael prophecies and Garabandal fit very nicely together, and I didn't even know about it until I did an event in Colorado. So no sooner do I do this show and I'm talking about Garabandal, one of the things I said was that when the solar flash happens, this was last Sunday, when the solar flash happens, you're going to have Aurora
He met
Borealis
Bigfoot,
all
definitely
over the sky.
Flubberblane.
The colors are going to be incredible. Well, within days, this actually did happen. Now, you can't do this with anything that the cabal or deep state has available to them. There's no technology that can make the sun have a massive coronal mass ejection.
Yeah, and by the way, that solar event was predicted months in advance of it happening last week. Months and months in advance. And by the way, I was able to see some of that Aurora Borealis effect from my cabin, but we're at a very high elevation. It was cloudy, but you could see it a little bit at my cabin. Didn't occur to me to drive out to the main road, but my neighbor's wife was someplace closer to the main road and got some good pictures of it. Interesting event, but it has nothing to do with David Wilcock's nonsense.
It's not technologically feasible. However, the deep state may have been playing around, and they may have created an environment with
Bigfoot
HAARP
gave Wilcock's a really good
cause
dope.
these colors to be brighter. That is possible.
Could be.
So they might have been trying to feed into the process.
Yes, he's definitely remote viewing me right now.
Messianic, biblical, end time oriented. Well, yeah, that's what this is. It's crazy. I'm so deeply honored that the sun decided to do this for us within days of when we talked about this prophecy. As far as I'm concerned, it's confirmation.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And so if you're not accustomed to biblical miracles happening in your life, then you ought to try being nicer to people, and you'll find out that they will happen.
Yes.
So
well,
again,
he's giving
hard
dates, though, Sandra. He says the aliens are going to come by next year, and the ascension's going to happen by, I think it's November of 2025, he said.
Especially because some of this is classified. So, it's just, there were untenable requests. I hope we can gloss over those and get something done.
Oh, yeah. He has classified
one way or another, we're going to
information.
get an investor really soon. So
he's all over the
place. I want to
go
through now the events that were on my favorite Twitter channel, and X as it's now called.
Yeah.
To get up to where
now
we are
we're going to get to the
today
cute
and how
posts.
this whole thing played out, because there are stunning events taking place this week that are really determining how our future is going to play out and which way this timeline is going to go. So let's talk about just stuff that's in the headlines that everybody.
Don't believe Wilcock.
See,
He can't even clean his room. Yes.
The first one that I'm going to go into.
He
right
claims
after
he
my
remote
show
viewed or
6th,
used remote viewing to talk to the
wars and
angels.
Protests. And so these are the top two headlines. Oh, I got Shantha Hanasana, $9.99. Stay strong, my friend. Patriots super chat donation. Thank you.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. It says, first of all, the first headline is, this is the top on Zero Hedge, mass arrests in New York as more than 1,000 pro-Palestine protesters march to the Met Gala.
Is he going to connect this to his mass arrests prediction for the last 20 years?
Ground exec.
Oh, look, the mass arrest happened, but it wasn't the cabal, it was protesters.
50 airstrikes. So here we have, the stimulus that's making people upset. They're not happy. They're protesting. And then you have the reason why they're protesting, and both these things are going on at the same time. As we've been discussing on the Shadow of Ezra,
Elmer wishes his fridge would drown out
about
David Wilcock's whining.
Investigation is closing in on the management of this country, and it's very, very likely.
Yeah, it's supposed to be psychic, but he didn't see his wife leaving him.
A lot longer.
Good point.
To me, I'm not buying into the idea that this must take place, that they have to do it this way. They don't have a choice. Yes, the things that have happened are very bad. But I really think at the very least,
I hope you're talking to Wilcock and not me.
For a while, we need to try some other stuff like diplomacy, negotiation. We have to try that. We can't just keep using force. This is what the protesters are upset about. I don't agree with what they're doing at all. I think their methods are unsavory, and anti-Semitism is just completely ridiculous. I can't even remember how many people were Jewish growing up in my town. I never even noticed it. I had to go
definitely
back
not
and
anti-Semitic.
And,
I had Jewish friends.
But anyway,
whatever,
it's like
dude.
to try to marginalize a whole group of people because the actions of their country or a country that represents them, when in fact almost everybody in that country doesn't want this happening either. They're terrified, and it's just a small thing in the leadership. So hopefully we can heal this pretty soon. Hopefully this is all going to die down pretty soon.
Yeah,
and
hopefully.
Along the same lines,
I sure hope so.
Another big piece of news, it's in the same category as that, and this was on May 7th, where a plot against Zelensky was foiled, as you can see right here. Now, this is something that was not unexpected. When people are being sent to their deaths and they don't have any option, they don't have any way out.
Who's sending Putin to their deaths?
they start doing this kind of
Who's
stuff.
sending
trying
Putin to
this
his
kind of
death?
stuff. So this was very shocking, and it definitely reveals that the heat is
Well,
on.
it looks like his herpes have improved, by the way, both on his lips and around his eye.
And the whole thing's probably going to come to an end pretty soon.
Maybe he got some
Plus,
herpes
this is
medication.
me
I don't
saying
know.
We had alliance messaging
I don't know if he has
saying
herpes.
there's only
People keep
one
asking
country
me.
left that they still haven't fully dealt with.
Pathfinder
or,
says
I
his
guess,
eye
they get
herpes
big
is not
announcements.
healing, is it?
And that one
It looks a little
country
better,
doesn't
I
approve
think.
Ukraine,
Maybe
and
it's
then after they
starting
said
to.
that, here we have this happen. If the plan had worked, then we'd be on a whole different timeline. Anyway, even though it didn't work.
Oh, thank you, Adam Marquis. I
and,
appreciate that.
Assassination is not necessarily a savory way. We need diplomacy. We need positive ways to handle.
Oh,
these
thanks,
things.
Archaic
This is
Revival.
just the
Thanks for
result
being a
of
member.
extreme frustration amongst those people.
Just a small thing. 33,000 dead civilians.
This was a big deal.
Yeah, if you believe the
And we'll talk
numbers.
more about that later.
Sure.
The next thing that we're going to talk about is this weird public ritual.
Did you miss the urine bath?
It was in a music
Yeah,
award ceremony
we
in
played that
Ireland
clip
on
in the
May
beginning,
7th.
Gigi, but thanks
And
for
here's
being
the
here.
slide for that. A literal ritual was performed in Ireland during the Eurovision semifinals. Believe it or not, some people are saying this is just art. What do you think? So as you can see there, actually, here's the text up close. And then here is the picture up close. Sure enough, if you look at this, what we've got is a upside down pentagram inside a circle of candles, which is exactly what I was talking to you about and showing you my own drawings of this stuff, okay?
He's covered in orange makeup.
Bambi
Yeah,
Thug.
it's bad. It's
What a
bad
savory
makeup.
and wholesome
He
family-oriented
doesn't know how to
name
use it.
for somebody. Yes, I still have the zit on my eye. It's never going to go away. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, fine. Bambi
He says
Thug,
it's zit, not
first
herpes.
semifinal, and they're
See?
sitting inside.
He doesn't have
circle,
herpes. He
has
just has
all seeing eye
zits,
in it.
people.
And she herself has black contact lenses on, demonic sharp teeth.
He fixed
Her
it.
face is all
Yes.
painted white, and she's just like constantly acting like
Oh, thank you,
she's the
Adam.
most evil creature on earth. So you got to remember, folks, that this is not
Demons
just art
Mocking
to them.
3.
This is ceremonial. When they do this stuff, there's two levels of this magic. Okay, there's ceremonial magic in a small setting that would happen in a room with people in the robes and masks and candles, as I've said, and it would probably involve a magic circle just like this. This is pretty ordinary what they end up doing, and they're expecting to see something. Again, whether it's real or not, if everybody sees something different, it's probably more like a hallucination. The Law of One says that these symbols that they see are culturally determined, so they build up over time culturally. But again, we don't really
that
know
orange makeup from
why
Trump,
they do this on
yeah.
a public level, but insiders have told me
How does one
that there's
thrive
two
hearing
levels. There's
Wilcock?
a small ceremony,
don't.
there's a large ceremony. On a large
Eurovision
level,
is satanic
they
now. Oh
consider
no,
this
Mr.
to be a
Wilcock,
form of
Eurovision
magic.
sucks.
And what they want is for people to not take it seriously and not act like it matters and not act like it's important and just ignore the fact that every time they do an award
Yeah,
show,
the intro
they come
today
right
was
back to
fired,
this satanic
Gigi.
stuff over and over again.
Check it out when you get a
It's like they
chance.
got no other material. So, you know,
Show us
part
your
of what I was going
signals,
to do
David,
was to read these
Cassandra.
poems to you, but they're very disturbing, and I'm just not ready. So we'll do that later
Oh, he's
on.
not ready to read us his shitty poetry.
So this is a public ceremony, and when they do this, apparently what's happening is that these entities are greatly strengthened. This is very important. When people look at this stuff and they watch it, and especially if they're entertained by it, if they think it's funny, or they think it's cool, or they think it's hip, whatever their opinion is, if you're not
Demons need us to
actually
be
upset by
entertained
it,
so they get more
then you're part
power.
of the problem.
Yes.
And that actually feeds these negative entities. They're also fed by us being afraid of it. They're also fed by
Could
us
be
being
right,
terrified
troll.
by it. That's where they get the most. So these entities actually force you to go out and advertise them. Their advertising is very important to them because if you don't advertise them, they can't do as much
Can
stuff.
you imagine
And
that?
advertising creates authorization. So this is actually a science. This is a public science of doing mass ceremonies because these entities are losing their grip in the metaphysical world. And
Could you imagine that? Demons come to you like, listen, you're going to have to start advertising. You're going to have to start advertising my demonic majesty. It's so stupid. By the way, for those unaware, welcome, new member, the Hydrogen Line. He just became a YouTube member. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. It is much, much appreciated. For those unaware, if you become a YouTube channel member for $5, we give you a big shout out and a thank you. So here's yours, the Hydrogen Line. Shout out to the Hydrogen Line who just became a member. Thank you. Thank you, the Hydrogen Line.
world, they are losing their power. And as a result of losing their power, they need to do ever more dramatic public ceremonies to tell you who they are, to show you who they are. Let's read some comments as I'm saying all this stuff. There are so many people who think this is a brand new issue. I remember it as a kid in the 90s.
Yeah,
yes,
Tang. Yeah.
this is true. Richard Osterman says weed helps PTSD. That is absolutely
Yes,
true.
praise the cash,
No
bitches.
privacy
Thank you,
burners,
Adam.
They can't do anything without your consent.
Thank you, the
Con
hydrogen
service
line.
to get your consent. That's right. Hey, David, have you seen that TikTok video where the guy shows the face beside the moon? It's so
Good.
bizarre.
We could use it.
Forex Gump
Thank you,
says,
Adam.
David,
We
you can
could
make
use
some
it.
people happy some of the time. You can't make all people happy all the time. Take the cookie scary
Yes,
lady.
Eurovision is not the same without a good satanic
Everything has
sing-along.
shifted. Tyler D just sent me $100. Wow. Mr. Wilcock, I hope this helps. And happy to see that you are doing and feeling better.
Somebody
I
dumb
like how
enough
you
to
said
send him
they ran out of
$100.
material.
Great.
The 17 crew waking up the normies, Marco Solis says. So Sebastian Cooper says, yes, this guy goes out at night. It's a full moon, takes a high quality camera, starts zooming in, and the closest you can literally see a face of what looks like a giant god. When do you reckon the big blast is coming? Is it 2025 like others say? Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what Michael is saying. Yes, I do think that's what's going to happen.
Oh, we're having a big
All right,
solar
so anyway,
flash now in
back to the
2025,
slides.
ascension,
The
and
next
we all
thing
get
on our list
superpowers
is
again.
a big win for a lot of people who want to see the truth. We're up to 3,807 viewers now. Woohoo! Thank you, guys. All right. We're almost at 4,000. That's a wonderful number. Okay.
4,000
So let's show
people.
this headline, top headline on Zero Hedge. It pulls their you-know-what after admitting a rare side effect. And then on the same day, same time, another Trump trial derailed. Fanny Dodane judge's decision to keep her on RICO trial is under scrutiny by appeals court. So basically, you know, for some people, they might feel really badly about this. Obviously, you can see by my choice of slippers how I feel. I'm celebrating this. It's very, very exciting to me because honestly, as you're going to see, even Hillary is saying, we got to call off the attack. This is crazy. It's election interference. She actually said that. These trials are making everybody upset. And I'm going through exactly the same thing in my own way. So
yeah, he's just like Donald Trump. He's under deep state attack because people are suing him.
Stunning admission. We've been going through something called gaslighting, which is lying on such a spectacular level that it gets you to question your entire reality. And so there's a mass initiation going on, which is, can you see it? Can you look at the evil? Can you see it for what it is? Are you willing to look at it? Are you willing to accept
thanks, Adam.
what
I appreciate
is so
that.
much being smashed in your face? They're doing these ceremonies. They're injecting people with stuff. It's deadly, and it's not fair, and it's not fun because a lot of people are innocent and they really have been misled. Now, Michael's message is that once we go through this first wave, we will gain healing abilities or soon thereafter, and it can reverse any of the damages caused by this. So if you did have one of these, Michael is giving you an incredible ray of hope that the solar events that we've just seen happening this past week are the precursors, the harbingers.
I told you he was going to weave this into his bullshit.
To this first wave of ascension. And hopefully after that happens, we can start healing people right away. Now, some people are going to get these abilities and some are not.
Oh, only some of us are getting
so that's
superpowers.
what determines whether we're on the timeline called the miracle or the timeline called the chastisement. The chastisement is like the whole earth gets cooked. But Michael Prophecies, my books actually say, you know, that we're already past that. It's not going to happen that way. It's not going to be a chastisement. You guys have learned your lessons. Most people on earth have integrated the basic message of Christ, which is service to others, forgiveness, compassion. The law of one's most important line to me is, in forgiveness lies the stoppage of the wheel of karma. And the wheel of karma is what causes you to keep suffering because you haven't learned how to forgive people.
Or maybe you haven't learned how to stop scamming people.
How to accept. And so, again, this is a very, very stunning event that we've just had here because it's the first time that the actual...
Gotta love a guy talking about love and light while he's scamming
say,
old ladies for their Social Security money.
We have a problem here. We're going to pull it off the market. So if anybody is still so brainwashed that they can't figure this out or they don't want to look at it, they want to stay in ostrich.
Yeah, nothing burgers. I agree, Jovan.
Compelling, game-changing moment. And what was really important in Michael's prophecies, again, is that we learn that this is going on, but we don't react violently. We don't create mass riots. We don't create violence. We allow
Face of
the
projection,
authorities who
Wilcock
are the alliance, as I've said,
gaslights all the
to
time.
handle this in a peaceful, ethical way.
Praise the
We don't
cash,
take
keep the
law
ball
into our own
going.
hands.
Absolutely.
I am not advocating any use of violence whatsoever. I'm only saying that we need to observe.
Oh, there's one. Thank you, Martin Wright, for a kind and generous £2 super sticker. Thank you for your kindness, generosity,
and
and
people
support.
who are in this
Praise the
organization
cat.
are born into it. They don't have any way out. They cannot escape. I got very, very lucky that mine apparently happened through UFO abductions, and that because I was such a hard person to work with, and I pushed back and I did a lot of strange things that got me in trouble, I got kicked out and I got put back in around 1986.
Yeah, the aliens abducted him, but they dropped him off because he was too difficult.
Then when the Michael
for
stuff
them.
happened, I actually gained angelic and
What a
spiritual protection. This is
bullshitter.
another thing. Once you go through a spiritual awakening, once
Yeah,
you
how
take
is
yourself
grifting
to a spiritual
compassion?
path,
Yeah.
you cannot be grabbed anymore. So if any of that stuff that I told you is scary to you, you're not at any risk as long as you're living an appropriately
Love, light,
spiritual life.
litigation. You're right, Patty.
But when I was a kid, I definitely had not gotten that yet. I used profanity as a kid, and there were other lifetimes where I'd been through
Mass
really
arrests.
dark
He was
things.
right.
Learned
Yes.
Michael prophecies. Supposedly, I was King David in the past life. I sent a lot
Law
of
of
people
One
to
is
their
a
deaths.
channeled
Probably a lot of
work
those
by
deaths
Carla
were not
Rucker.
fair. And as a result of that and other past life indiscretions,
Oh, thank you very much. 00 Govan 00. Thanks for two things: being a member and a kind and generous, benefactor to the tune of $2. Thank you for helping us to praise the cat.
I ended up having to go through this very strange
Okay.
parallel lifetime.
Oh, he's going through
cosmic
parallel
trauma.
lifetimes. Yes.
I'm very lucky that all I have is these dreams, and I don't get to remember most of it because I'm sure I wouldn't really want to.
Oh, he doesn't want to remember his
But in my
abduction.
waking life, I've lived
Alien
with
abduction
such
experience.
purity, that there's nothing like that at all.
The aliens got
very
tired
proud
of him
myself,
begging them to
All
buy
this
his
time,
shit.
the
Good
enemy
one,
has been trying to
Garaji.
come up with ways to denigrate me, to make me look bad, to say that I'm not a good person, and there's just nothing there. You can't find anything. I haven't ripped people off. I haven't committed adultery.
Oh, that's something else. He's saying he never ripped anybody off. What about the Convergence Pictures LLC scam? What about the hundreds of thousands of dollars you collected in charitable donations and essentially, according to your own documents that you filed with the IRS, spent that money on yourself, including $5,000 or was it $4,500 for meals and entertainment out of charitable contributions? That wasn't ripping people off. What about when you lied and told everybody that they'd be able to do it too, if they'd be able to do anti-gravity and free energy if they took your $333 course? That wasn't a scam. What about 8 years of telling secret space insider stories from Corey Good, who then admitted that those stories were fake? Was that a scam? I would think so.
I only ever had one girlfriend or wife at a time. I never cheated on anybody. There's just nothing there that you can find that's real. They're going to have to make things up, and they've been doing that for years. We've had this thing where, oh my God, David stole Pete Peterson's money. Well, that's been going on for 9 years now.
I never said that David Wilcock stole his money. I said that every line of the GoFundMe scam was a lie. You and Pete Peterson claimed that police had illegally entered his home and were throwing all his belongings in dumpsters and rolling over them with backhoes. None of that was true. That was all a lie. And thank you, Sandra McDonald. Very kind and generous of you for two things: being a member and a kind and generous $14.99 Australian super chat. We appreciate you, Sandra, a longtime show supporter. Thanks for appreciating us. Thank you for your kindness. Just so we're clear, he confuses people claiming he stole Pete Peterson's money with the fact that that whole thing was a scam. It was a scam, David. Every line in the GoFundMe text body was a complete and total lie. You scammed people out of $60,000.
It's not true. It never was true. People still keep repeating it. Even after the last time I spoke to Pete was to get him on tape saying that this did not happen. We have 5 people in my board that can prove it didn't happen. Whatever, they don't care. They're still saying, "Oh my God, David stole $50,000." Well,
No, it was 60.
it wasn't even possible.
And nobody said you
It was
stole
very
it.
difficult
You said you
to get
scammed it with your
GoFundMe
friend
to
Pete
release the
Peterson.
money to Pete without him doing it himself. I had to jump.
You're an asshole, David Wilcock, because you told everybody that this man was under deep state attack in order to get people to donate money to him. That's a lie. He wasn't under deep state attack. It was a run-of-the-mill mortgage foreclosure that had taken place years before you scammed the UFO community out of $60,000 for lies. The man never worked for Ronald Reagan. He never worked for the Russian equivalent of NASA. He never won the Order of Lenin award. It was all lies. That guy was a con artist, and so are you for helping him scam the UFO community out of $60,000.
Through so many hoops just to get them to allow me to wire the money to him inside their internet portal. That's as far as I could go. And we had to get paperwork. We had to send them all this documentation. They gave us a proctological exam. So that just is simply not true. Okay, so then as the week goes
truth
by,
hurts, doesn't
another
it,
really
David?
strange
Welcome,
thing happened.
Spooky.
We're going to go to May 9th.
Somebody must have said
now.
spooky 3 times, because
There
then
was, first
spooky
of all,
shows
a
up.
warning about the collapse of the Fed, and then there was this thing like father, like son. So here they are.
And just so everybody's
top to
aware,
bottom. This was
David Wilcock lied and said there was millions of dollars worth of equipment in that house. I talked to the people that cleaned out that house for the bank. You know what was in there? A whole bunch of dead cats and bottles of piss. There was no equipment worth millions of dollars. It was a hoarding nightmare, David Wilcock. Why don't you tell your audience the truth? That man was a senile old man who was saving his own bottles of piss.
It was on TG, Telegram, not on the regular Twitter page, because this is where the
here's the
contentious
shadows
stuff
of
that they
Ezra.
do shows up on TG.
Now he's sharing
let's talk about
Q-tard
the first one
posts
before we
again.
get into the second one. This, I have to say, this was on May 9th.
This is
and
new
really,
intel.
really freaked me out.
Shadows of
What
Ezra
are we looking at?
Q-tard
We're looking at
posts on
somebody holding a
Telegram.
phone over a $20 bill on what looks like an outdoor
Yes,
picnic
reaping what he
table.
sows. Yes.
And there's a lot of sunlight there. And then they have the $20 bill, and it is
Karma will
crossed
come
out
and
with
get
the
you
red
eventually.
X.
Yeah.
Now, the red X, up until recently, we knew what this meant.
You
but
are
it was a very
correct.
clear
It was
symbol,
all
and it
trash
has
in
to
that
do
house.
with,
There was
okay,
nothing of value.
somebody's been taken out of the game. Now, it doesn't mean they've been killed, because they red X'd Prince Charles and he was still alive, but they also red X'd Lord Rothschild right after or right before he died. Maybe it was right after, I forget. It was one or the other, but it was right around the same time. So to have the red X appear on this suggests that the entire Fed as we know it is about to go through this cancellation, or
Oh God! Now he's going to interpret Q-tard posts.
perhaps they've already surrendered. This could very well be an indication that something is going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. It's already happening.
Yeah,
now.
the house was filled with dead
And
cats,
the
Admiral
point is,
Rascals,
we're
and
not gonna
bottles
be
of piss.
dealing with this type of money anymore. And again, that's something I talked about very recently in my shows, that President John F. Kennedy did Executive Order 11110,
One or the other.
authorized
Yes.
the creation of millions and millions of dollars of silver certificates, where they're actually printed by the United States government, and they're printed by the Treasury, not by a foreign group of bankers called the Federal Reserve. So that's pretty wild. So this alone was like a very surprising thing, and it really seemed to, wake me
Yeah,
up and make me say,
Q-tard
oh my God, I
Telegram
think we better
posts.
do another
So
show this week,
surprising.
because holy crap. This is a big one. I mean, it suggests that the Black
Q-tard
Swan
posts
event
is a big.
that they've been telling us to expect to be happening. And in fact, an article came out like a day later saying regional banks are going to start collapsing like one a week. So we're definitely going to be heading into some very, very frightening financial events. So then they did another one, and here's the next one. And it says, like father, like son. Now I looked at this picture. I looked at the tilt of his head. I looked at the way that his ears look, the way that his lips look, the way that his nose looks. This is remarkably, remarkably similar to what I showed in my last show, my self-portrait of depression from 1987. So this is what I drew originally. And again, the eyes, there's a lot of emphasis on the eyes.
He's
I
a
did
terrible
it in
fucking
charcoal.
artist.
Notice the nose, notice the mouth, and notice the shape of the hair. I mean, I didn't really think about it, but I had an entire dream talking about how much this looks like Donald Trump, like a young Trump. And when I started the dream had to show
Oh
me
my
this. I wasn't
God.
really thinking about it, but yeah.
Now he thinks he looks like
So
a
then
young
I
Donald
realized,
Trump.
oh my gosh, look at this.
What a
The
liar!
picture that they used of Barron is very, very similar. The ears are in exactly the same place. The
Oh my
lips look
God.
the same.
What does this have to do
his
with
left
anything?
nostril's kind of, he looks a little bit grossed out by something. His left nostril's a little bit higher than the right one. It's the same thing in my shot. The eyebrows look the same. The hair looks just about identical. I mean, it is amazing.
It's not that amazing, David.
And
It's
what was so
stupid.
weird about this is, once again, this was posted like father, like son, at the same time that Barron goes into politics. And so that made me realize that perhaps when I showed my dreams,
Barron's gone into politics. He's still a child.
drawings
He's
that
still
I
in school.
based on my dreams from adolescence, teenage years, that it might be influencing other teenagers, maybe you as you're watching this, to jump up, to get more involved. And that's very
Oh yeah, because there's plenty of
another
teenagers
thing that
watching
happened
David
was, in
Wilcock.
the
No,
midst
it's
of
all
all
old
these-
ladies.
like I said, there's 3 lawsuits, there's all this other stuff going on. The refrigerator, the politics around getting that in, the
There's
investor,
politics
whether he's
around
gonna
getting a
invest or not. I hope
refrigerator.
he does. I hope we can work this out. I really would love to be able to embrace these guys and get along with them. There's just certain things we can't do. It's just procedurally, national security, we're not allowed to do that. So that ruins the deal. I mean, it's not our decision. We can't allow somebody to tell us whether we can spend our money on this.
Back to the Stavati
We can't
scam.
disclose all the information on all of our investors. So that's just the way it is. But again,
He
when
is
I saw
deluded.
this,
Yeah.
it also had some very curious things, because in the midst of all this, I told my father I'm basically having a nervous breakdown. I'm very upset. All these things are happening at the same time. I can't handle it. I can't cope. And he called me up and we had this beautiful heart-to-heart conversation that actually led to a real healing, where he said, I no longer believe that the military was a bad thing. I mean, he taught me to feel that way in high school. And I was very concerned about being drafted into military service because at the time,
Because I'm a
I
pussy.
was already seeing the cabal for what it was. I wasn't happy about what I was seeing. And I didn't want to get drawn into fighting, billionaire bankers' wars. Whereas the military now is something very different. And I have voluntarily stood up and engaged.
Yes, he wants a
civilian
cabinet position
form of
for
service
Donald
that's
Trump.
very
Sure.
real.
Yeah.
The risks are very high.
He's going to
but
be
I'm
the
saying
minister
it's
of bullshit.
entirely dangerous.
Trolley.
And so I had this huge healing with my father, and he admitted for the first time that, he made a lot of mistakes. I guess he saw Dr. Phil's seminar and realized that he'd done a lot of things not the way you really should have done them as a father. And I said, I forgive you. It's fine. So we had this huge
Oh,
event,
that's interesting, Gigi.
and now my father is really into
I
the
wasn't aware of
military,
that.
and he's happy that I'm supporting it. It's a total change I never expected. And then like one day after this happens, they post like father, like son.
Yeah, you'd be
Use this
dead,
picture that, again,
Pathfinder.
is very, very, very interesting.
So what is he
How much
saying?
it looks like the one that I drew. So you can take that for what you want. But again, it inspired me to wear, yes, the slippers.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
And I'll give them back. I promise. I will give them back. Then, on this very same
Oh,
day
that's interesting, Amy. Wasn't
that
aware
I
of
have
that.
this reconciliation with my father, that all these big things come to light to be healed, we have the coronal mass ejection. This is when it started.
Yes, he connects dots
This
that
is
are
the
not
post
there.
that we saw on the Twitter page,
Yeah.
Shadow of Ezra.
And by the
Again,
way,
is the ghost.
he's telling everybody that Shadows of Ezra is the head of the Alliance comms now, communications head for the Alliance. And the interesting thing is that the Shadows of Ezra doesn't even know who David Wilcock is. Macario sent this to him. He is now directly saying that you are part of the Alliance, and he is responsible for the views that you are getting. And Shadows of Ezra says, I've never spoken to him. Then Macario sends to him, David is live. Now he is saying that you are watching him and using his info for your posts. Every week he keeps pushing more and more. Shadows of Ezra says, thank you. Once again, I have nothing to do with David Wilcock. I don't even know who he is. So isn't it interesting that David Wilcock is claiming that Shadows of Ezra is getting information for his posts from David Wilcock streams? And somebody messaged this Shadows of Ezra Q-tard who says, I don't even know who David Wilcock is, to be honest. Isn't that interesting? But David Wilcock's going to keep making claims because he's an
place
idiot.
of the Alliance. You got to be going there all the time, and you're never going to see it on your notifications. So what you have to do is click on the name and then just go to the main feed. and scroll
Wilcock makes a
through.
good
Don't do
human
that, you're
shield
never
for
gonna find
landmine
this stuff.
clearance.
So you just have to manually go in there.
Yep.
You have to click on his name. And you have
True
to replay
confessions.
stuff on
Wilcock
the
has
feed, or
daddy
else you won't
issues.
see it. And some of these.
Yo, if he was my
like
kid,
5
I'd have
million
beat his
views.
ass, Patty.
So this is amazing.
Stop
This is
lying.
the one that I want to read.
Smack the
now.
shit out of you.
Right as this started happening, they
No,
posted
I don't believe in hitting children, but
giant sunspot
David Wilcock
threatens
was
Earth
my
with
son. I
colossal
might.
eruptions. It's 2 million kilometers long. Sunspot AR-3664,
Absolutely insulting. Absolutely.
which has been under observation, has grown to colossal proportions.
Oh God!
You see me reading it
How
here?
many
There I am.
Q-tard posts do we got to get through?
Visually rivaling the legendary Carrington sunspot of 1859.
He's so desperate for
15
material. He's
times
pulling
brighter
out old shit he
Earth
drew when he
itself.
was a
So
teenager.
visually rivaling
What a
Carrington.
loser!
Carrington, as you know, knocked out all the
Q-tards,
telegraph
daddy issues.
lines.
Let's
Everything
snack
that was
them.
electrical just got melted.
Yeah.
Thankfully, in
Make 'em make a
1859,
banana
they had
s-
a limited amount of it, but they had to redo everything. Nothing survived. So an EMP just destroys all electronics. Now, Michael and the Mary apparitions have said that we will be protected as we go through this. I do not expect that the first wave is going to cook our electronics, or at least not most of them. The Carrington sunspot holds a significant place in history due to the intense solar flares and coronal mass ejections it unleashed in August and September 1859. The resulting geomagnetic storms were so severe that they set fire to telegraph offices and ignited auroras visible from Cuba to Hawaii. Alarmingly, studies suggest that Carrington-class storms occur once every 40 to 60 years, indicating we are overdue for such an event.
Yeah, they're solar cycles. It's not a big deal.
I remember 1 month ago reading about how NASA is preparing for an internet apocalypse as a huge solar storm could hit the Earth by, wink, wink, 2025. Oh, yeah, you know, there's no connection between this stuff and what David is saying, and they hate David. There's these intelligence community people keep putting these posts up where they claim that they're talking to this guy and that he despises me.
Nobody said that, you dummy. Now I'm an intelligence person. And so is Macario, who messaged him and got this message from him that he doesn't even know. Look, now David Wilcock's directly addressing this. He's saying that intelligence assets are lying to his followers, right? No, the guy doesn't even know who you are, David Wilcock. The guy doesn't even know who you are. And I'm not an intelligence asset, you dumbass.
That's just not true. There's so many tie-ins to my work. It's so obvious. Like Father, Like Son was another one. Nobody would have known that unless they were watching my stuff
Oh, nobody would have known that.
through
Come
my
on.
laptop. So yeah, it could hit by 2025. Oh, wow. And send the Earth's energy grids into a meltdown. Do we not deserve better psyops than this? So then at the bottom of the screen there, they showed you the Carrington event, and then they showed you the one that we just had. And look at that. They're exactly the same. May 9th. Okay. So then the next one that
Q-tard
we had
posts on Telegram
on the same day
are
was Taylor
intel now.
Swift as a demon. Now, this is obviously something they did with like computer animation, video game quality. It says new visuals at Taylor Swift's Era show in Paris. She is literally portrayed like a demon. And it's very, very creepy. You know, her
Could
eyes
be,
are all
Cameron.
white and her face is all crazy and it looks very, very evil. And this just, again, it's a public ceremony. They want you to be freaked out. They want you to be scared. They want you to feel sad. They want you to say, why are they doing this? I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. That's what they want. Because if you're sad, if you're scared, remember, what did the Colonel say? What do the demons want? Hatred, unforgiveness,
Elmer
and
hopes
fear.
the solar flare screws up his
They
new
can make
fridge.
you angry. If they can make you not
Hope it
have
makes it
forgiveness, if they
noisy.
can make you afraid, that's the main thing. So if you are afraid, if the stuff that I'm telling you is scaring you, I'm not doing my job. I'm not supposed to scare you. I'm supposed to show you that this stuff is
Archangel
real.
Michael
But then you
is
got to
giving
man
crap
up or woman
advice.
up and deal
Yeah.
with it. You got to face the music. You got to realize that there are people who are very evil, okay, and they happen to get together and figure out how to run the world. And all that's coming to an end now. The evil is being purged. But in the process,
Stop making
they're
fun of terrorist
advertising to
savior.
their overlords. Literally, this feeds these spiritual beings energy. They live on loosh. They live on our hatred, unforgiveness, and fear.
Yes, I would
And this
make
is
an
also how
exception.
they can influence people.
I would beat his ass.
So if you stay in denial,
being
if
a
you look
lying
at this and say,
scammer.
"Oh, ha ha ha, it's no big deal," like in the
That's why he's a
1980s,
lying
got this
scammer,
band
because he's
called
an entitled
Poison.
rich kid
They have
whose
a song
dad
called
didn't
Talk
smack
Dirty
him
to Me.
around
Look at
when
their
he was a
album
kid
cover,
for
and it's
being an
four guys in
asshole.
drag, and they're all decked
Just
out.
one father's thoughts.
Doing this kind of, it was so ridiculous.
Too many the urban way.
Yeah, and then a lot of the bands were satanic. So
All
we had
stupid
satanic
people.
rock bands.
You have to be low IQ to believe
That's
David
what they
Wilcock
want.
is
They've been
telling you
doing
the
this for a
truth.
long time. This has got an agenda behind it. It's not just random. Okay, evil rock music they love that, and they want you to dabble around with it, and they want you to think that it gives you power. And then you watch movies, and the good guys don't have.
I just want to put on the record that A lot of rock bands or music acts use dark imagery. It doesn't mean they're satanic. I mean, I was in goth bands, goth industrial bands. I had more makeup on than Kiss. It didn't mean I was a Satan worshiper, though some people thought that that's what it meant. I had black hair and, blackout eyes and contacts and weird makeup. It was just part of the show. It didn't mean that they were satanic, and I don't think it means it in the case of many others either.
Any magical ability, but the evil demon or whatever the creature is in the movie, the evil demon has all kinds of power. So this is all by design. They don't want you to think that spiritual people that are positive have good.
I agree, Cameron. It was to get attention. In my case, it was certainly.
They're doomed. They want you to be so afraid.
Yes,
of this
Wilcock
stuff that you will
stories
not
again.
look at who they are and what they are. So again, Archangel Michael and Mother Mary are
Admiral Rascals finds it funny that the Q-tard doesn't even know who David is.
Spiritual beings, project into human form. They've been doing this for millennia, going back to the time of the Hindu Vedas.
Stories never end.
We get screwed up in misinterpreting what they said. So another really cool thing that happened was Zero Hedge's one of their main headline stories had artwork in it that was directly inspired by us, and the artwork was on an article that was validating one of Michael's prophecies. Michael's been saying we're going to see a big economic collapse. Shadow of Ezra's been saying that. The Alliance has been saying that.
There is no alliance. It's a figment of your imagination, you dumbass.
And so this Zero Hedge article used artwork that was profoundly similar to what I had just done in last Sunday's show. And it was so exciting that I had to point it out.
Yes, you're doomed, Gigi Belly.
So again,
I listened to King Diamond
illustration
too. And Mayhem, and Black Metal,
Destroyer is incredibly fascinating. I talked about this
Slayer,
where
Metallica.
Reagan drawn up as like Arnold Schwarzenegger with a big machine gun that also has a phallic symbol on the end, and there's energy coming off of it.
Where's he getting this? Did he draw this bullshit?
It's got trauma aspects to it that I probably wasn't aware of. Again, the mushroom cloud itself looks like, phallic, and what he's grabbing onto looks phallic. And then he's shooting somebody who actually looks like a kid, and he looks infected. He's got these green spots all over his body. And then what is he holding? He's holding a needle, but the needle is associated with...
How desperate is David Wilcock for material that he's pulling out shit that he drew when he was a freshman in high school and trying to assign some cosmic significance to it?
The end of the world.
He's a shitty, terrible artist too, by the way. He can't draw worth a shit.
Okay, that's what I was
7-year-old can draw better than this.
So here it is up close, and then we're going to zoom in even closer. I mean, you can definitely see it looks like a hypodermic needle, and it even has the same green color. I painted a little bit of that green color on the tip that you also see that the soldier that he's hitting, or whoever that is infected with. So this is all very, very interesting stuff. And as I said before,
I actually
did write 03393742.
This is like the
U.S. Marine
ramblings of a mental patient.
What he's holding on
he needs
to,
a metal. He needs a straitjacket in a rubber room.
I was drawing a nuclear weapon, but this doesn't really look like a nuclear weapon, does it? It doesn't have any fins on it.
I agree, Richard.
Shape.
Yeah,
he
dropped the blue avians for the angels
or a dagger.
This is proper mental illness drawings. Yes, legitimate mental illness, says Cameron. Yes,
got some kind of energy in it, and of
there
course,
is deeper psych meaning in that drawing, and it's not positive.
My subconscious knew something else that
Craig Williams says he's a
apparently knew what was coming in the future.
I could see him spanking.
So it has this U.S. Marine Corps serial number on it of 03393742.
He kept all his old school jokes.
So as I said, I looked this up.
I don't have anything
I did it originally 2 years ago. I found a couple things, but I found way more this time.
How does he not know who Reagan is drawing?
The first one was unclassified document JT.
It's a big doobie he's holding.
Same number, where it's talking about this Latin American Caribbean competition forum. And as I said, we had 10 people working at my conference when I discovered this, right before I discovered this, and I made these slides for the conference. And they were Latin American. So this was...
imagine that. Like, Latin Americans working in a hotel. Wow. What are the odds?
You can see the code number right at the bottom there, 03393742. So I couldn't believe this, and it really, really blew me away. April 12th,
talk about connecting dots that aren't even there, right? This is so stupid.
And then we had Siberia, which is, again, I talked about in my show right before this, just a week before this, that there was Siberian Roswell. I went through that whole story, and that it looked like a crashed missile, and that it had Sanskrit on it. And then what is he holding? He's holding a missile, a Siberian crashed missile.
Oh gosh!
So this is incredible time loop.
Looks like a party
And the
joint.
other thing was the
leash.
Mitsubishi
Yes,
Space
he's
Star
never
motor
wrong.
033-92742. And as I said, it's in the Mitsubishi Space Star. Or
I just want to know how he's building a hover
or
car with a
Mitsubishi
regular
Star,
car
I guess.
engine. Can't wait to see that.
So this is really
hover
incredible
car
because we
floating and
actually might be
flying
working with Mitsubishi
with a
on
regular
Space Star motor.
with
So
a
how
regular
in hell
car
did all these
engine.
different things come off of that one number that I
Cheech
drew
and
in the
Chong
late 90s,
joint.
or late
Yeah.
80s, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and friends, we've been here for 2 hours and 10 minutes, and unfortunately, I have to visit the little boys' room, so we're going to have to take a short break. But I want to thank Anthony from Unidentified S4, who's been making some videos. We started the show with one of his videos of David Wilcock. And that was really funny. And he's got a new music video, UFO Grifters Gone Wild. So we're going to play that, and I'll be right back. We're going to get through another half hour of the wacky world of Wilcock. When I return, I will be right back, friends.
They're lurking in the shadows, preying on the curious. UFO grifters and scammers, making us delirious. They're taking over the community, spreading lies and deceit. But we won't let them win. We won't admit defeat. UFO grifters, UFO scammers trying to take over the world like a bad dream. Every balloon in the sky, every light in the night. The media runs with it like aliens in flight. And don't get me started on those ancient aliens. Frauds, spreading misinformation like it's sent from the gods. They twist the truth, they bend the facts, but we see through their lies. We're not buying their acts. UFO grifters, UFO scammers, trying to take over the world like a bad dream. Every balloon in the sky, every light in the night. The media runs with it like aliens in flight. But we won't be fooled, we won't be swayed, we'll keep searching for the truth. We won't be afraid, we'll dance to the rhythm of our own beat and kick those grifters right off their feet. So let's keep our eyes on the sky and our minds open wide. We'll uncover the mysteries with truth on our side. No more grifters. No more scams. We'll dance to the beat of our own UFO jam.
All right, friends, that was quick. Quick break. We're back, and we will get back to the David Wilcock Festival of Bullshittery.
So it was a very, very exciting thing, and
Exciting
I talked about
finding
how it
a-
might have other parallel life connections. We don't
Yeah,
need to go
a
through all that
drawing
again.
from high school and
the-
assigning all
the
kinds of
lyrics were
cosmic
from Black
significance
Sabbath.
to
This
it.
was a song that part of how I dealt with this parallel life trauma is I listened to this band quite a bit. And in the first Black Sabbath album, there's a song called Black Sabbath. And it's a song about him facing off against the devil. What is this that stands before me? Finger in black that points at me. Pit black face with eyes of fire, telling people their desire. Satan sitting there, he's smiling, watching those flames.
So now
get higher
Ozzy
and
lyrics
higher.
have some cosmic
I mean, it's a
significance?
very, very disturbing song, but it was, every time I heard this song, I felt like I was standing there in front of Satan, and it was terrifying. And it helped me process it. So these lyrics say, it's very prescient for the COVID situation we're in now, which, again, delineated by the Siberian nuclear needle here. Yes, I know the secret that's within your heart. Now I've found you out. I don't think you're so smart. I only have one more question before my time is through. Please, I beg you, tell me, in the game of hell.
Now he's using
who
Black
are you?
Sabbath lyrics in his bullshit.
So I put
festival.
this out there. I
Amazing.
released this into the world, and this was an image that, of course, also includes these buildings. And the buildings are all about to catch on fire because of this nuclear eruption. There's a nuclear fire in the middle of these buildings. Well, sure enough, a couple days later, Zero Hedge comes out with this. And that's the link on
Mysteries
the
of
bottom.
David
And it
Wilcock,
says,
no more scams.
watch billionaire
Yeah.
real estate investor expect 1 or 2 bank failures a week, UK Economist.
Yes,
Wow.
let's get back
Just to
into
show
it.
you how interesting this is, I've compared my drawing to what was on Zero Hedge. And, you know, I've seen this happen on Zero Hedge before.
Oh, Zero Hedge is
Pretty
copying
amazing.
artwork from David Wilcock's high school artwork. Come on, David Wilcock, you bullshitter. This is a bridge too far even for you, king of bullshit. Zero Hedge is stealing artwork from me that I drew in high school. Come on, you egomaniac.
And what we're looking at here, because this really does seem to be somebody doing maybe an AI generated illustration,
Those lyrics are
but
copyright.
it's remarkably similar to
It's
my
remarkably similar to
illustration.
the shit that I drew in
That,
high school.
again, makes me happy as an influencer when I
Oh
influence
yeah, you're
people.
so
That's
influential
my
that
job.
Zero
That's what I'm
Hedge is
supposed to
stealing
do.
artwork from you. You
So who could have ever known
What
that
an
this provocative image would
egomaniac.
have a
What an
COVID
ego
prophecy
on
in
this
it?
guy.
And in
Those
fact,
two
it wasn't
images
just
look
art.
nothing
There's
alike,
a
by the
poem
way.
that I wrote when I got sober in 1992 that I'm going to read you, and that's going to be the main course of today. And it also has stunning connections to COVID. So that's another thing I
There's
want to talk
connections.
about. But this really was very heartwarming.
The
And
Oxford Scott-
I
yeah.
love that when I get acknowledged by people.
They
So
didn't
again,
acknowledge
very
you.
cool.
They had an AI artwork
Then
of
in
burning
May 10th,
buildings, you
shortly
asshole.
after the assassination attempt, we hear that there's major panic going on. So here's the
Again
whole
with the
thing, and now we're
Q-Tard
going to go
posts.
up close.
Q-Tard
Major
post time.
panic in UK. Russian troops have started a ground assault in UK's northeastern Kharkiv region at dawn today, making progress of 1 kilometer closer to the border town of Vovchansk.
Me
The
too,
objective of
Bittweiler, but I didn't
establishing a
assign
buffer
major
zone.
significance
You can
to
tell
it
by
or
Z's
accuse
facial
news
expression that he appears
organizations of
worried.
ripping off my high school artwork 25 years later.
During his inauguration, P
He
declared
is
to the
out of his
country, "We
fucking
will
mind.
win."
He
It
is.
seems he has initiated a major assault.
Buildings, how
Does he
original.
surrender,
Yes.
request more money, or pursue a peace
Yeah,
deal?
he should go back to drinking
So
or
again,
something.
they told
yeah.
us there's only one country left, and now they're describing how it's moving towards some type of final event. And again, we don't want war to continue. Let's hope that this can all come to an end somehow.
Oh yeah, let's hope. Let's
So
hope
then again, they talk about the next day on May 10th
Oh
that
god,
this has
Q-Tard
created
post.
a geomagnetic storm on Earth,
Q-Tard post.
whatever the sun was doing, that has led to
Yeah.
these phenomenal
The next 25
aurora
minutes is all
borealis
Q-Tard
effects. And
posts.
so what we're seeing in these pictures below, you got purple, you got pink, you got green. There was apparently a lot of pink and a lot of green all over the world. And when I saw that they were posting this and that this
Oh
was
my
really
God,
happening,
what does this
they were
have to
going
do
through
with
all this
anything?
trauma, you know,
He's
people
going
ask
through the
us
trauma
stuff
of
about
having to get a
national
new
security, we just can't
refrigerator.
give them,
It's so
you know, sorry,
traumatic. I had to
we're
get a
not
new
allowed to sign this
refrigerator. It was so
contract.
loud.
You just can't do it. You know, it's heartbreaking, honestly. But let's zoom in on what they had to say at the top now. Biblical skies all around
Well,
the
it
world
was.
from the
It was
geomagnetic solar
The
storms.
Soviet Union
Again, I
still
had just
existed
talked
when he
about
drew it.
on my show a few days before this. It's incredible. The sun performed. This is a biblical miracle. This is God or the Creator wanting you to know that what I'm telling you is true. I believe that's what this is. The storm was upgraded to level 5 out of 5 or extreme, making it the first G5 level storm since 2003. Scientists warned
maybe.
of possible disruptions to communications over the weekend. Government-funded
Broken
scientists,
fridge,
quote
Michael
unquote,
says, blah, blah, blah.
telling us to
What a
expect
boring man. I
power
agree.
grid collapse, blackouts, which I just had this past week.
It is even worse that people
We
give
had
him
high
money
winds
to
and
be
then power went
yeah.
out. That was terrifying. That happened like right after I did the show. The very next day, I'm like, oh my God, this is ever going to stop.
Oh my God, the power.
Cellular system failure, radio outages, satellite disruption. If any of these things were to ever come to fruition, the mainstream media would be the last to warn you to be prepared. So were they trying to get this to happen? Do they want this stuff to happen? Yeah, they're hoping for some extinction level event, because then they can hopefully disrupt whatever is going on and regain power in the midst of crisis. This is order out of chaos. It's their classic protocol. But again, looking at the bottom here, these images are so beautiful. The aurora are so beautiful.
We're looking at Telegram.
And I feel very, very honored by that. I never would have expected the sun to do something like this right after I talked about the Virgin Mary and Archangel Michael.
Yeah, the solar storm was only due to David Wilcock's brilliance. He's claiming credit for the solar storm. God made that solar storm happen so that everybody would know about David Wilcock's new shitty books.
And the prophecy of a solar flash, and then they do one.
What a narcissistic,
the biggest one since Carrington,
this
really?
guy is.
And that just so happens 3 days after I talk about it? Oh my God, wow. Another thing that I like to think of as a geosynchronicity is they were digging around in Cambodia at Angkor Wat, and they dug up hundreds and hundreds of brand new sculptures, things we've never seen before. And in amongst the collection is
you're absolutely right.
reptilian humanoid
$2 million
sculptures. This is
home
one of
now.
the Nagas. He's got a cobra over the top of his head. He's got cobras coming out to the sides.
This $15,000
this was probably done in the 13th
fridge
or
was
14th
bothering him,
century
so he
AD,
had to get a new one.
so it's fairly recent.
He
Not
had an
based
itch
on
of
eyewitness
herpes then.
testimony, so the
Yes.
face looks more
Need
human
the
than it
truth,
probably
raise
really
the
would.
cash. Yes.
But again, this is just new sculptures they dug out of the ground, and once again, it all happens right during the solar flash, and it's talking about reptilians, because in the Hindu tradition they are described as Nagas and they're reptilian humans. On the same day, we had this headline about a liquidity crisis at the Oscars, top headline on Zero Hedge. They went woke, facing liquidity crisis, launching a $500 million fundraising drive as viewers flee. And to think Ricky Gervais could have saved the whole thing for much less. So then we go into May 11th.
They spent $500 million.
And at this point now, where the U.S. power grid and communication networks survive an extreme geomagnetic storm. There again is that beautiful picture of something that really did happen. It says, major geomagnetic solar storm happening right now, biggest in a long time. Starlink satellites are under a lot of pressure, but holding up so far.
Oh, Jesus.
So there was some fear out there. Oh my God, what if it's all going to happen right now? What if our grid is going to collapse? What if we're going to go into this extinction condition?
No, most scientists
I just
knew
said,
that it wouldn't affect
if
our
I'm still here
communication
on Sunday, maybe I'll do a
majorly
show,
anyway.
but my life, I'm going through so much hell. I had this dream about the deal going wrong, and it compared one of the parties involved to Hannibal Lecter.
Oh,
And
God.
all of a sudden, the alliance does a Hannibal Lecter
One of the people in my business deal is a mass murderer.
callback. Now,
Come
nobody
on.
would have known this because I didn't make it public unless they could see inside my computer, and I believe they can, just like with everybody else. That's just something we all have to deal with now. There's no real privacy. Anybody in the intelligence community can see inside and look at what you're doing.
No, they can't.
So I had this very disturbing Hannibal Lecter dream that was a prophetic glimpse of what was going to happen, that these guys are going to ask us for something that, even if we wanted to do it, we can't by national security. So they just ask us for things we can't do. And again, I'd love to work it out with them. It would be great. Let's hope they're going to do it. They already put money in escrow, but then they hit us with these unreasonable things we can't even legally do.
Well, anybody who was planning to invest in Stavati, who did even the least little bit of research, would find out you're being sued and called the Ponzi scheme an investment scam. That tends to scare investors away from giving you and your shady aerospace company money, David.
Okay. So I had a Hannibal Lecter dream, and then all of a sudden, Ezra posts this. Liberals are losing their mind over Trump mentioning Hannibal Lecter.
Could be,
Trump
yeah.
should have just
I'm no
compared
expert.
Hannibal Lecter to John P. They have way more in common. Sure enough, if you look at the
I
speech
can
on the
imagine.
top left there, he mentions the name over and over again during a political speech, and this was a direct.
I had a little bit of a hard time. My first child was autistic, but we didn't know it when he was a baby, and he cried all the time for a year. And it was very difficult. I used to just rock him. I would take him in my arms and I would rock him like this. That seemed to help Gigi. And my other son was quite different. He didn't cry very much unless he was hungry or he needed his diaper changed. And you could quickly figure out what's going on with him. Yeah. Yeah, 15,000. Everybody's got a $15,000 refrigerator, don't they?
Obviously, to me, it was a direct message right after Like Father, Like Son, which I acknowledge in my journal. Thank you, guys. That was amazing. I hadn't even thought about the fact that the pictures look the same, but there you go. The drawing that I made and then the picture of Baron.
He needs a rubber room.
So this was another one. We got another donation. Diane, $10. Hope this helps. Thank you, Diane.
Yeah, because he really
probably
needs
a good time to read a little
$10.
more.
Yeah.
They see inside my computer. I have watched videos vanish right in front of my eyes. Yes. I will also point this out. Without getting too specific, I have different internet service providers. One of them is a local company that gives me, I can do whatever I want. Another one is a big telecom. The big telecom company edits pages in real time. They've done it over and over again. I have to disengage from that internet connection. I have to get onto my local broadband, and then I can load the page and everything's fine. But like Rumble never works. Certain websites never work. Certain Twitter pages never work.
He's an idiot.
Even I've seen them edit out paragraphs.
Mr. 180 IQ.
I always scroll through an article really fast because some pieces of it disappear. Or like another thing that happens a lot if I use the big telecom internet is that the comments won't come up. They just, sorry, these are not visible right now. So they actually edit in real time. It's very much like China, and this is actually happening. So yes, you're right. So it says they are using unauthorized screenshots of a guy's phone in court as evidence of his crimes. He didn't know they were taking screenshots of his phone. Private apps do not work with screen access. Daisy Alvin Fred has donated. I think he is suicidal. We as fans need to help. Well, that's absolutely not true. I don't know who you're talking about. If you're talking about me, it's not true. But thank you for the donation.
Oh, it's good to know David Wilcock says he's not suicidal. He might be if he doesn't come up with some money soon.
I do believe that the whole financial system will reboot nicely as this goes on. Nothing is a coincidence, says Marco Solis.
Yeah, his views are way down,
Bill
Craig
says
William.
you will get the money and be able to do it. It's a question of when, not if. I do believe that, and I think we're really, really close. Gabber Beast TV says, David, can you please share
here's
with
the
us
piss
the dream
thing.
you had with Archangel Michael?
Here's the
and
piss
how if
thing
we bathe
again.
in our own urine, we can gain superpowers. What do we need to do this? Well, we're not actually talking about so-called urine therapy right now.
Come on, David. Tell us how to get superpowers, but you can bath in your own
have
piss.
a protocol that Michael had me doing where I would.
What angel would tell you to take a bath in your own piss? Why would an angel tell you to take a bath in your piss?
Agent Orange, which is dioxin in Vietnam. And so doing the bath does help. And
he needs to come out of the closet.
After
you drank happily ever after.
Urinate before you get into the bathtub, and then you drink new water out of a glass.
Yeah, kudos.
In the bathtub,
good job, Gavin Beast.
And there are a certain amount of cells in your urine that are your cells. And so it creates a telepathic transmedium effect in the water that gets you into what I call stretch space or time space.
So you just
For me, I call it stretch space.
Piss in your own bathtub. Great.
Crystal P donated $100. Wow, thank you. That's incredible. That's here right in the red one. And the solar flares are really shedding some light. My guitar sent it to Jerry Garcia's hands, and he played flawlessly. God saw it and said that it was good. Ha 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 ha. He bathed in his
technological impaired.
Okay, well, that's the very highbrow commentary that we got here. Sauna is great for detoxification. Hey, David, open up applications for moderators sometime. Many of us would love to help your YouTube. Yeah, we'll do that. We definitely want to keep moderating. David is wearing a CIA nose-piercing disguise. Okay. David, thank you very much for sharing the information with us. Many blessings to you, my friends, as Gabriel. And then it goes on and on from there. So I gotta keep moving. People are going to get mad. Anyway, let's go back over here. The next thing that happens is after this really, really bizarre callback to the Hannibal Lecter dream that I had just had. And, hopefully we can salvage this deal. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what the call was about. Somebody's like, don't say anything. They're going to do it now. Okay, well, I'm sorry. If you guys are happy and there's nothing we can do about it. We got to conform to national security laws.
How many times is he going to cry that this investor wouldn't invest?
If you're happy, we can make a deal. I would be more than happy to work with you guys. I love talking to you on the phone. Everything was cool. Up until this letter came in. Well, we can't agree to these terms. I'm sorry. It's just not available to us.
Who does business negotiations
so
on a public live stream?
On May 12th, now this solar flash that started on May 9th has created an extreme geomagnetic storm. And as I said, I was getting these northern lights or whatever, vacuum phenomena, lights without lightning, ball lightning is appearing right outside my window. Every minute there's this big flash, about 7 pulses all at once. It was incredible.
He's in the Colorado mountains. It's May. There's a phenomenon called heat lightning. I get it at my cabin. There's no grand significance to it, David Wilcock, you dumbass. It's heat lightning.
Probably because of the geomagnetic storm that's going on right now. It was just this morning I saw it. And that doesn't usually happen when I get up in the morning. There isn't usually flickering lightning outside. So again, it says severe to extreme geomagnetic storming is possible again later today, according to the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center. I was already seeing it this morning. And today is May 12th. So
he has magic powers.
E5 rating is considered extreme and is the strongest level of solar storm, and they are still warning us about blackouts. So yeah, they would love that if it was a blackout. They need that right now. They really do. So then they say
bring HARP into it.
HARP is being defended on May 12th for some reason. And so we're going to zoom in on this at the bottom. He says, please rate this community note as not helpful. The contributor is trying to defend HARP for some odd reason. This note provides no proof. These people are so desperate that they contradict themselves in the note section, so please help us by rating this as not helpful. It is true that HARP had announced testing. This is what the community note says. However, the current aurora can be traced directly to coronal mass ejections, which were seen to flare on the 9th. Only the sun would be capable of creating enough energy to create the aurora of the magnitude that we are witnessing. Well, yeah, it was solar activity. And that's where, again, it's a miracle from Virgin Mary, from Archangel Michael. If you're a Christian, you should be very, very happy about this. I know I am. That's why I'm here today. I got a new refrigerator. I don't have to listen to this crap anymore. My life has changed for the positive. The Alliance has given me these very interesting symbols. They had 2025 solar flash. They had like father, like son. They had the Hannibal Lecter dream. All those things could not have been seen except for my inner contacts, except for the first one about 2025. So again, they're saying
the Alliance is sending him messages through Telegram.
This actually only validates what I'm saying. Yeah, it can only be done by the sun. But where this person is decisively incorrect is that if they knew that the sun was going to do this, they could set their HARP arrays around the world.
He has passed the test of a LARP. Yes, but failed the test of a prophet.
And more dramatic as a result of this solar activity. I don't have any problem believing that.
Yep.
So that's what I think is going on. The deep state probably did this on purpose because they want everybody to be freaked out, think it's the end of the world.
The deep state did it.
They wanted you to think this is the first wave of ascension. I only think it's a precursor. This was not that event. I didn't have any sudden cosmic God consciousness download, which is what we're expecting to happen. So then another really provocative thing happened today, which is Hillary. I just saw this right before the show. I had to get this in there. It's part of why I was a little bit late, and I apologize. Hillary calls off the attack. The one that is going on now and currently in New York is really about election interference. Whoa. Hillary Clinton issues desperate plea for political prosecutors to resolve the trials before the November election. Can you even believe that she actually did that? Like, why in the world would this actually have happened? Well, it's probably because we already know that nobody is buying into this stuff. And the newest case just fell apart because the woman under testimony made admissions that she hates him and that she never intends to follow the rule of law and pay off the judgment. So that's essentially fatal for what's going on here. It's a fatal move, and they know it. And so it's like, darn it, we blew it, and nothing's going to happen. And then yet another really provocative thing that happened today is from Keith Olbermann, who had a very sassy mouth, and he disses the Alliance. And so here's that post. He says, oh, here come the Q blah, blah, blah shitheads. And then
shitheads.
And then SOE responded back to him, shut your mouth. And then he says, Keith Olbermann commented on my ex-posts about John and is actually defending him. Whoa. Yeah, probably not a good idea right now to defend that kind of a situation. The optics are not very good.
Oh,
so now, before we get into my weird poem, I want to read your comments. This is stuff that you guys put on my own Twitter page this morning. As I put all this stuff out there for the world, you guys stepped up and ramped it up and gave me some really interesting information. So here's one of them.
By the way, I just want to put on the record, David Wilcock has my Truth Seekers YouTube ID and my Stephen Cambion YouTube ID muted on his channel and on his Twitter. He doesn't want his followers seeing the truth behind his bullshit. That's why he does that. He has to live in an echo chamber.
This was by 100th Monkey Syndrome, D. Dobrik, all by design, he says. And it's talking about the Geophysical Institute, University of Alaska, Fairbanks.
Trump. Yeah.
And it says right here, if you read on the top right, the high frequency
I agree.
Aurora Research
She's a
Program,
private citizen now. She has no
based
power
in
to do
Alaska,
that.
and is a high power, high frequency transmitter for studying the
But
ionosphere.
Hillary was
According to the search
talking about
results, HAARP
exactly.
has announced that they will be conducting tests from May 8th to May 10th involving transmitting high-frequency radio waves into
Yeah, it
the
could
upper
be. I
atmosphere
mean,
and
I've read a lot of
ionosphere,
stuff. I haven't
which
seen a lot
can
of
cause the
proof
ionosphere to
evidence,
emit light and create artificial air glow. And again, it's only creating a climate that
The
makes
alliance.
it
He
much better
means
for the
appliance.
solar activity to create color. So this person gave a really good point. So here's another one, Lemony Snicket. This was my experience 4 days before we got our planetary light show. My date and post can be verified by looking at my page or searching the keywords of my username on X first photo. He says, holy shoot, I posted this 4 days ago prior to all the Aurora Borealis showing up. WTF.
Well, if his poetry is anything like his
He
artwork,
says
it
here, I
probably
can't read the whole
sucks,
thing.
Admiral
Something
Rascals.
came from my left,
Yes.
entered my whole body, a very different kind of light I see from the orbs. I've ruled out logical explanations like light from outside or anything like that. I saw what I saw. Things like this are becoming very frequent for me. And I actually had orbs in my bathroom today. Same thing.
David Wilcock had orbs.
Funny thing is, I'm not getting surprised as much anymore, too. Now, after I finished this, I saw a very interesting kind of light from two golden orbs, very different kind of light, as well as confirmation.
You're probably
I
right,
was
Adam.
doubting myself. And then he said, the skies will be filled with the Aurora Borealis
Yes, we
globally.
do.
I've been saying
Absolutely.
this since 2018, LMAO. This is finally happening.
Hillary, where
So
is
yes,
he?
there's another example of somebody just like me. In my last show, I was predicting the Aurora Borealis. He went with it. Lemony Snicket did the same thing.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then just a
not
couple
really
days
sure.
later, we actually have one. It's absolutely amazing. Finally, we have
This is the dumbest followers.
Paulie Lasker.
His followers are
Thinking
idiots.
About asking you about the sun.
They're
One of
wackadoos.
the
He's
weird
got a whole
aspects of
group
the
of
events regarding the sun
wackadoos.
during the last 2 months was this artificial-looking daily slump on the solar X-ray flux. It started 5
Orbs
or
in the
10 weeks
bathroom.
ago.
Yeah, Pixar,
It
it didn't
occurred
happen.
daily, and after the sun started
David,
emitting
those
solar
weren't
flares,
orbs.
it stopped.
Wilcock
It's as
is
if an
shooting
outside
orbs
force
now. Yes.
stimulated the sun to
Yes.
start this process.
It's just his farts
You can see
getting
there's
ignited.
There's
Gross.
these sudden drops and these sudden
Gross.
peaks. And so, yes, this could very well be the result of the sun having an intelligence, because I do argue that there's a cosmic intelligence in the universe. And so the sun could be a part of that cosmic intelligence, same intelligence that made me decide to borrow Trump slippers. Okay, it's that kind of intelligence. It's that kind of intelligence.
Maybe it's a bad idea to publicly admit on a live stream that you stole slippers from a hotel room.
Just joking. Calm down. But anyway, what might be happening here is that there is some type of intelligent allowance of the sun to let down its boundaries, to allow in more light, so that this would
Yes, it was
manifest
dust, not
at the
orbs.
right time
Yes.
in the timeline when we
The
needed
sun
it
has a
to
brain.
get this
Sure.
really what I consider to
He's
be
got a 180 IQ. Don't argue with him. He's
And so
smarter
last
than
but not
Einstein.
least, on May 12th, just now on the Telegram channel, once again, they announced something stunning. The U.S. military has closed down HAARP, and apparently they have the ability to do this. So let's zoom in on this a little bit more. It's only got 13,000 views so far because it just happened today. Conspiracy theories abound as U.S. military closes HAARP. The U.S. Air Force has told Congress it intends to shut down HAARP, a controversial Alaska-based research facility that studies the upper atmosphere. Well, if the military is the alliance, which has been my contention, that there's the biggest James Bond covert conspiracy of all time, the biggest covert operation of all time
my
is happening
God.
right now. It's why
How can almost everybody who is into the Q-tard grift have jumped off the Q-tard grift, but David Wilcock is so dumb that he still thinks it's real, right?
I've got these
What an
numbers on.
idiot. He is dumber than
A lot
rocks,
more to that
this
story
guy.
than you may realize if you only buy into what
Dumber?
the media says. You're
David
not getting
Wilcock
it.
is dumber than
But
rocks.
this is a really, really interesting thing, because if the military shuts down
Closed
HAARP
HAARP, starting
and it
fart.
doesn't have
Yes.
power anymore, and they can actually cut the power, then there goes
I don't know. They
almost
stole
all
him
of the
from a
weather
Trump
modification,
hotel.
all the weather warfare, which includes, why is it such a drag? Why is it such a drag to live here? Why are people
Yeah, he's
having
got
such a hard
herpes.
time with heat
Pincer.
waves?
At least
in the
that's what people are
Pacific,
saying. I don't know if it's true.
Southwest and the
He's got
southeast.
herpes
Whole
sores
southern
around
half
his
of
eye and
America
his
gets these
mouth.
unprecedented heat temperatures that make it very uncomfortable in the summer. And if that could all be turned off, then they can't use it as a weapon anymore, the deep state, whatever. So it's
Yeah,
a
you're
big
right,
thing.
Amy Collins. Yeah,
And this is a huge, huge announcement. It's again shows that we're nearing the end of this.
his right.
Weather
old
normalizes. That's why
conspiracy
California gets
midwit Telegram
rain,
account again.
snaps back,
Yes.
and so it's very, very positive. Okay,
Yes. He needs to
Well,
play.
we're now at the 1.5 hour mark, and this is actually a nice midpoint for us.
Well, it's an hour and 25 minutes. But Chris Damaris with a kind and generous $9.99. I was going to use this money for a banana sandwich, but I don't have mayonnaise on mine. Well, thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. We appreciate you. Thanks for appreciating us. Thank you for your kindness, Chris. All right, now he's going to get into a whole nother thing. So maybe, even though we're 5 minutes short of getting through half of it, I think this is a good jumping off point. I may do the other half because, quite honestly, there's some funny stuff in the second half of this. At the very least, I will make a video. I'm going to be making a video of some of his wild madness, including the piss stuff, taking baths in your own piss and whatever. We made it through almost half of another David Wilcock festival of bullshittery. And what we learn is that Zero Hedge stole artwork from David Wilcock that he drew when he was in high school. And that David Wilcock believes that the Telegram Q-Tard channel is sending him communications and special messages, and that taking baths in your own piss gives you superpowers. And an angel of all things told him to take. By the way, the playing of this entire video was fair use, a transformative work. We're using that video to educate the public, critiquing the video that we are sharing. This, of course, is covered under fair use and is allowable by law. And should Wilcock falsely copyright claim me and I lose ad revenue on this stream, I will add that to my small claims court case against him for stealing money from a small YouTube channel like ours for legally and correctly using those videos under the concept of fair use. He's going to have to explain to a judge how what we do is not fair use. We've got fair use defense letters. He's hating on Zero Hedge. No, he showed some drawing he made in high school, Crypto Alchemist, and then a vaguely similar AI-generated image that Zero Hedge used in an article and claimed that he influenced them because he's such a big influencer that they used his artwork that he drew in high school. It's so stupid. A for a $5 meth head. Yes. Festival of bullshittery. Yes. Trademark. Yes. That's my term. It's copyrighted, right? Yeah. So what can we say? The bullshit continues. He lied so many times through this stream. He's complaining that the people that are suing Stavati want the money that they promised. We showed you the paperwork. They promised them that they would get $5 million back for a $1 million investment. And they promised that within 4 years, that investor would get $5 million back. Now that investor wants his money, but they spent all of his money and they don't have any money to pay him. So this should be interesting. And according to Wilcock, there's several other lawsuits against both him, his company. I'm aware of the lawsuit against his charity, the David Wilcock Spiritual Empowerment Foundation, or whatever he calls it. Maybe karma is finally coming for David Wilcock, who has spent, in my opinion, a lifetime scamming people out of money for fake information, false information, disinformation, misinformation, and outright lies. After all, David Wilcock, I believe, has willfully and deliberately used completely and totally fake government insiders to scam people for fake government inside information. That, to me, is a form of criminality, in my opinion. But again, I'm not a law enforcement officer. I'm not a lawyer. So I'd have to default to someone like that. Elmer Boilerhouse says, Wilcock is such a big influencer that I understand Zoella is wearing those slippers now. Yeah, could be. Yeah. Pathfinder says, we also learned he has shit at art for sure. Yes, not very talented as a visual artist. Probably a classmate he was fantasizing about in high school. Oh, yes. Crypto says, what a clown, right? Zero Hedge, respect. What did he say again? Yes, somehow Zero Hedge ripped off artwork that he drew in high school, according to David Wilcock. This just shows you what a narcissist and an egomaniac this man is, right? And yeah, I'm sure, hopefully we'll have time this week. We're going to be going over, but tomorrow I'm hopeful that we are going to be here. I'm definitely going to be here at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm hopeful that we're finally going to run another part 3 of the Murder in UFO Land series. Got a few more things to do, but it's very quick. I've finally got a written script. We have all the material to share on the screen. Those Murder in UFO Land episodes kill me. But tomorrow night, I think we'll be doing that. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here. I hope you will be here with me. So we want to take a moment to thank all of you kind and generous benefactors, you Patreon supporters that support this channel for as little as $1 a month, you YouTube channel members who get the same benefits that the Patreon supporters get, but you get a few YouTube extra goodies. We appreciate you. And kind and generous $5 PayPal pledge from Gigi. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. We want to take a moment to thank all of you kind and generous benefactors, whether you're throwing us a couple bucks on PayPal, sending a super chat, super sticker, Patreon support, channel membership. We thank all of you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Thank you, all of you. Yes. So I think we're gonna wrap things up here, and I'm gonna bounce on out of here. But like I said, I will definitely be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got a busy week for you this week. Instead of doing 3 live shows, we were doing Tuesday through Sunday, but yesterday night I wasn't really busy and didn't feel like just relaxing. I wanted to get some showtime in, so we did that. So this week we've got at least 4 live shows for you. We've got 2 in the books now. Tomorrow will be another one, and hopefully Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. So what can I say, friends? That's all I got for you. Until next time, my name is Stephen Canby, and good night, and God bless all of you.